the whole process started, and then like her having a relationship with a guy, and then it's like it became an intimate relationship, and it's like, okay, this is my partner, and then slowly exposing her to more and like parties, and then like, hey, like let's experiment with this, and like let's do these type of drugs, and then it's getting
like
into that
grooming, slowly grooming her.
Yeah.
And then at one point it was just like, I remember she said that they were flying her out to another country, right, on a private jet with these two guys. And she thought it was a vacation. She was
Andrew
like
Tate?
to Paris or something. And it was, what?
No.
Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Romania. Where did they go?
So
Where did they go? Anyways,
it was a private jet, and she thought she was going like on a vacation. It was just a trip. No, it was literally they paid just to have her on the jet to beat her, rape her.
What?
Yeah. She was like all messed up. As soon as they landed in Paris, she had to go straight to the hospital because of the injuries.
no way.
What's up, everybody?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of
The Coffee Breakup.
Yes, that's us. If you're listening to us on Patreon, thank you so much for supporting. You guys are the best. Listening to us on the Go, Spotify, and iTunes, we love you guys too. If you're watching us on YouTube, you guys are the third on the list. What else are we? Social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and
Yeah, we got
Twitter.
Twitter. We got a website. coffeebreakup.com. We got all kinds of stuff.
anyways.
Put the Coffee Breakup in Google, we will pop up.
Yeah, we actually, the algorithm knows us. Right?
yeah,
SEO
top
knows us.
of the results. We are back with Milagro. How are you?
I am going.
She's doing going. She's
doing
through it, bro.
things.
Doing good,
She's
I'm
going
doing
through it.
It's
Yeah, I know.
the probiotics.
Yeah, this thing is going
It's
right through me
like-
right now.
I'm
Oh,
feeling
boy.
it right now.
Yeah. Wait, I'm supposed to shake this too, right?
Yeah. I think you gotta mix
That's
up
why
a
it was
little
all bubbly.
Oh.
Yeah.
bit. Mix up a little-
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So let's try it again.
Yeah.
Milagros, how are you?
Bum, ba, bum. I'm doing
We
good.
do a reset. How are you?
Doing good.
I see you. You love green, huh? Green is
I
your color,
do.
which is why I have a little bit of green.
You did it good, yeah.
and I didn't even know what you're gonna wear.
You didn't know?
I didn't know.
Oh,
because
because you can change the color on this?
Of course.
Oh,
Yeah.
Come on,
amazing.
where the
I never
fucking coffee
noticed.
breakup, girl?
You can
Look
change
at you
everything.
guys.
Colorful LEDs. What's up? Wait. Oh shit.
I didn't want to do a green because then it would have been too much, and then it would come up on the camera.
All right.
Come on.
All right, dude. You see, this guy gets
Compliments,
it.
it compliments.
Yeah,
Thank
we don't
There
want
you
too
go.
much, then it's overwhelming.
All
We're glad to have you back. You were on, I think, a month or 2 months ago at this
A
point
month
already.
and a half?
Yeah, by the time this episode will be out, it'll be like 2+ months.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a great episode, and we went into an hour and a half, and then we were gonna keep going,
It
but
was
we
a
ran out
shame.
of time.
It was such a shame.
We had another guest lined up. It was a little bit tight, so we were like, we got to get you back on. And literally, you were the fastest. You're not the first guest.
returning guest.
Yeah, you're not the first return guest, but you're the fastest return guest.
I
So
feel-
we've never done a turnaround in like 2
That's
months.
how bad we wanted you.
Yeah.
I feel so honored and so happy, honestly.
We got so much good feedback. My girlfriend loved the episode with you in it,
Aw.
and it's just very knowledgeable. We have we have a very diverse group of guests that we have on, which is great. But the episodes that we've had, with you are kind of my favorites because it's very informative, very educational, and I know it could help a lot of people.
I appreciate that so much. You guys have no idea.
Thank you.
So I didn't even listen to the episode myself.
What?
'Cause I don't like listening to my
Oh,
voice.
you gotta,
Yeah.
you gotta.
So I had my close people listen to it. Even my therapist. My therapist is like, I don't like podcasts, but I'm gonna listen to it because you really want me to. Okay. Everyone's feedback was great. Like everyone loved it.
I love it.
But what I love the most about everyone's feedback is that everyone, even my therapist, was like, it wasn't like only about me. It was like not a one-man show. It was about everyone's effort, everyone's input. Like it was a collaborative effort.
Right.
And I love that because I feel like sometimes we see it like a metric in regards to like how many, like there's a limit to how many people can be happy or have success or have the spotlight. And it's like, no, it's a communal collaborative
Absolutely.
effort. And I just love
We're
that.
a team,
like
baby.
spreading exactly.
We're a team, dog. We're a team in here.
I like that. Yeah, because I feel like that's the whole point, why we have the podcast, and it's just having different discussions, and you might add something to the conversation, and Chris will add something, and I will add something, and we don't have all the answers. We never say we do, but we just try to kind of start up a conversation. make a little bit of a difference.
Which is the easiest thing. If you guys don't know anything, I mean, that's the whole point of having these conversations. Explore, learn. You guys never know what's out there. If you guys are raised on certain things, again, we've said it all the time. There's other beliefs out there, and this is why it's important to be open-minded and just listen, so we can get that feedback, get that kind of different point of view. But it all comes by having these kind of conversations and really being open and kind of taking charge.
For sure. So just give us a little bit give the audience who may not be familiar with the first episode, give them a little bit of a background. What is it that you do? And
most definitely. I actually want to make a reference in regards to last episode, but I'll definitely give a background in regards to I'm a victim advocate for victims of domestic violence and human trafficking. We touched more in regards to domestic violence, that no one deserves to be mistreated, belittled, gaslighted. A relationship's a choice. You're choosing to be with that person, and it's to uplift each other, support each other through the good and the bad, not to bring you down, not to mistreat you, not to make you feel less than. And I think that was one of my concerns that I was overthinking, because when I left here, I felt great. I was on cloud 9. I was on high on life.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really because of the energy exchange, right? You guys, I had frozen up for moments, and you guys contributed and added feedback and input.
Team, girl.
Yeah, the team. And I love that because, that's what matters. But these are topics I'm really passionate about.
Yeah, of course.
So I was getting into my head the day after. I was could I have created doubts or any confusion for a victim going through domestic violence, to seek out help? And that was one of my concerns. And then, because this is my first time talking about it on this platform.
Sure.
So then it's new to me. So I was thinking, I had to show myself some compassion because I was being a little too hard on myself. I was
I think you did great. And also what I loved is that you were clear, you were coherent, you were a professional, but you're also human. And I think that's what a lot of people want to connect with. You're not a robot, you're not a machine, you're not reading off a script.
Yeah.
So I think that could resonate with a lot of people. So I don't want you thinking that there was something that you maybe messed up. I thought it was perfect.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, I had to show myself compassion. I was you know what, Milagro? It's when you start the gym. When you first start the gym, for anyone, it's a little scary, intimidating in the beginning. Your form isn't the best. You can't start off heavy. You have to start off with light weights and then build. So that's what I was thinking about in regards to this. And I was it's just about having the conversation. And then in regards to the post, so many people were started resonating and disclosing their personal story. Yeah. So it just opened that door, and that's why this is why you guys do what you do.
Exactly why we do what we do, and that's why we have people like you to come on to really create those conversations. So, because just like you said, we don't know everything. We don't know a lot of stuff. If anything, I feel I don't know anything at all. But because of guests like you come on, you educate, you talk about your experience and also your expertise. Yeah. And it's educational for us, where we, again, with this platform and everyone that we've had here, we've been able to just kind of strip back the layers and try to ask the questions that maybe people are uncomfortable asking, or maybe they didn't even think that they should ask. So because we kind of approach it with really just not knowing anything, we ask the dumbest questions, which it really isn't dumb, because everyone here is probably oh, I feel too stupid to ask because I feel it's a dumb question. Well, that's why we ask these, in order to help educate everyone else and also ourselves.
For sure. I mean, again, we've done this for 3 years now, and again, what I was saying earlier, these episodes are really some of my more fun episodes. I love all the episodes, but some of them are a lot more fun than others. And the last one with you was definitely one of the better ones, for sure.
Thank you so much. That's such a compliment. My therapist was even saying, she's do you guys know each other? It seems so comfortable and in the conversation.
Professionals at this point.
That's when I was you guys are that consistently with every guest. Even if you guys don't resonate, I just want to let you guys know that.
My brother told me that too. He goes, you know what I love about you guys? I think I said it before.
Yeah.
It's that no matter who sits on the other side of of you guys on that chair, on the couch, it's fair. It's tell us everything, and we're gonna pick and choose. We'll battle it out. We'll have some discussions, but we never judge, because everyone comes from their own different backgrounds, and there's reasons why they choose to do what they do, and the decisions that they make, whatever. So it's kind of, and sometimes we know we are maybe opinionated on it.
Yeah.
But it's always we always take the step back and just be you know what? Let's hear your story and why it is that you make those decisions. instead of kind of belittling people like maybe other podcasts that you like to reference. Yeah. But yeah, we just like to have those conversations just like that. So so thank you for coming back on, and let's jump right into it.
Let's do it. Give the background about like
she did.
But like in terms of how long have you been doing it, and
okay, yeah, of course.
Just briefly.
So, well, I know last time you were asking me in regards to like my background when I left. So I was like born.
Oh yeah, I did ask you.
So
where are you from?
I was born in Gainesville Hospital, but I'm from Live Oak, Florida, a small little country town. Yeah, okay. It's near Tallahassee.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So then I moved to Miami when I was around 10. But my background is Cuban. And fast forward into my graduating high school, just starting college, my freshman year, I was in a hotel and I transitioned to the domestic violence shelter. And I've been in the domestic violence field for 6 years. And it's something that I'm very, very passionate, and I feel very fortunate. You know, it's very emotionally rewarding getting people, seeing people in the most vulnerable state, and then being there for them, like being their support system and seeing them get back on their feet, giving them the tools. Because I think that's with anyone, right? Anyone in life. It's just in regards, like, we're not teaching people or giving people tools to handle stress, right? We're not telling them, teaching them coping mechanisms, like healthy ones. Like, a lot of people are practicing, like, avoidant, tendencies. So
True. One of the things that we couldn't even dive in the last because we ran out of time, is that you also deal with victims of human trafficking, and we never touched on that, and I really wanted to kind of make that like a topic of the forefront. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah.
What is it that entails, you know?
So I am going to say I feel like I'm much more secure and confident in regards to domestic violence, because the human trafficking cases I get are very limited.
Sure.
And we have an advocate that specializes in human trafficking. But what I would say is that human trafficking, there's this misconception that it only happens to kids, right? And it's like, just like domestic violence, it does not discriminate. It can happen to kids, adults, women, men, transgenders. And I think it's in regards to someone seeing someone at a vulnerable state and preying on that, and that on their vulnerability and exploiting that, you know. And then in reference to if they're undocumented, if they don't work, they want to get out of their country for better opportunities, they want to come to the U.S. And then it's like, hey, we have this great opportunity for you. We can help you get.
So that's how it works. It's almost like a ring of professionals at this point, kind of setting up a trap.
Yeah.
Right? Interesting. Yeah, because I always thought people were just getting kidnapped, like bag over their head and taken, and then
you think
shoved into the back of a car.
Like Taken. Like the movie Taken.
That, yeah, but it's almost like they almost volunteer themselves without knowing that what's to lie ahead.
Yeah. And then they start like having things over their head, like blackmailing, or if they start getting information in regards to their family. Hey, if you don't do this, then I'm gonna like kill your family or do this to your family, or it's like something that they have over them.
Almost like holding them hostage.
Yeah.
I mean, did you watch the Jeffrey Epstein?
Yeah.
Did you watch it, Bunny?
No, but I've heard you reference it. And my best friend too, she's also has something
That was
with it.
another thing, right? That he was like trafficking these women.
That was the okay. So the story had it that he would be trafficking, and I forgot what it was. I don't know if it was for like a job, so these young girls can start making some money. But then they would kind of target these girls in certain areas and with I guess certain, I don't want to say families, but just like in a position where they were kind of like, yeah, whatever, I don't care, I'm gonna go and stuff. And then that's when it started. But what I heard, I think it was at the end of the episode. I don't know if it was there or somewhere else, but the power that then he had, because if I'm not mistaken, I think his mansion in New York was like wired and bugged with a bunch of cameras all over the place. So it's like if there was activity happening in that house and it was being recorded with people of power, if you're talking about Jeffrey Epstein, he's a multi-billionaire. So at this point, just think of the connections and the networks that he has. So it's almost like if I have you in my house doing this type of activity and I'm recording it, I now have blackmail over you forever. So you're in a position where now you have to do things. But at that point, it was more for the other people performing the acts, not so much for the actual victims.
Yeah. I was. Now I'm gonna have to rewatch the documentary.
Kind of want to watch it again.
I'm gonna watch it tonight.
Yeah, it was interesting.
That was
But
a
it
good
was,
one,
it was
actually.
pretty disgusting.
But yeah, it was sick. But it just kind of highlights what is happening all over the world, and maybe not on that big of a scale, but obviously
I feel like it blew a lid open a little bit of like possibility of, because it's almost like unheard of. Like I was talking to my girlfriend about it. We're here going back and forth that it's almost like she's a little bit more naive on things. She thinks that the world is actually like this perfect place. Not so much. Like obviously there's bad stuff, but like you just hear what happens in the world of like all these atrocities and stuff. You're like, yeah, like this is actually like people are trying to do these things.
Yeah.
And she's just like, oh my God, I can never imagine that. But it's like, yeah, if that exists, you know,
Yeah.
and we can't be blind to it. So I feel like this documentary kind of put more eyes on the subject and the topic. And then obviously with the power of social media, everyone now starts talking and sharing information.
Yeah.
Everybody starts getting onto it. And then it almost like, oh, like you didn't hear the thing about Wayfair?
Oh,
What
I
do you mean?
did. About the names of the furniture. It's supposedly names of victims that they've trafficked.
And
I don't
so,
know.
and then they'll be looking at prices of things, right? It'll be like a freaking this thing, a coffee table, and it's like $3,000, and they're like, "Why the fuck this little coffee table cost $3,000?"
Really?
Or it'll be like a little
Yeah.
shed or whatever, and it'll be like almost like a storage cabin or whatever, like a
Yeah.
little container. And yeah, it was expensive, and they're like, "Why the hell does this thing cost that much?" It's
So
almost
the
like a
code.
code for that.
And that's
A lot of
like-
conspiracies, bro. I learned this
Yeah.
on social media. This was my point.
No, it
There's
is
a
true on
lot
the
of
black
shit.
web too. Because I was at when I first started years ago, I went to this convention in Orlando, and it was like an FBI that was hosting it, and he was saying in regards to like the black web, and like it is
crazy shit out
hard,
there.
The dark
hard
web.
to like pinpoint, find someone, like hold someone accountable. Yeah.
So when it comes to like the sex traffic or the human not sex, well,
Yeah,
human
it's- yeah,
trafficking, is
control.
is that the reason for it? For
It
sex?
can be also
or
be labor.
labor.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, like work. Like in regards to even people,
Like migrant workers
like
and stuff like that?
Oriental massage places, like they're known that a lot of the workers are like forced to be there, and then
Really?
Oh, I can see. Yeah, I see that.
yeah,
It's so
and
sad.
then what's also crazy. So in regards to like, hey, there's not things that we hear about all the time. I went to the beach the other day after work, so it was like 5:30, and I was just enjoying like the scenery, the sunset, and I saw this like young, pretty like Miami girl that's just like walking, completely like super
Miami.
presumida, yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So then beautiful woman. And she comes and she's looking at me. I see that she wants to interact, but then she's like, hey, can I just leave my purse here? I want to go in the water, but I don't want to, wet my purse. And I was like, yeah, of course. So she leaves her purse with me. And then she was just like walking into the water, comes back. And I don't know, I just started making conversation because I just love humans and like interactions. So then when I start talking to her, I'm like, oh, yeah, so my name is Milagro. I actually just got out of work, and I work with victims of domestic violence and human trafficking. And, like, I saw her expression completely change and her body language, and I was thinking, I automatically, like, I usually assume that it's domestic violence. But she kept asking more in regards to, like, oh, what do you guys do in regards to human trafficking? Like, how do you guys help victims of human trafficking? Like, that's something that I'm really passionate about. And, like, that I would want to, like, help people that have experienced that. And she just kind of like was in shock and like stayed quiet for a moment. And then I just started like continue talking and like telling her in regards to, hey, like how important it is. Like if you do feel like you want to help, like, hey, there's, you can volunteer. And it's so important to get more people involved in this community to assist. And then, yeah, she's like, and she started crying. And she's like, I've never cried. I don't cry. She's like, I'm super strong. I don't allow myself to cry. I'm successful. I have my own business. I am my own person. I'm very independent. And then I guess she's like, just has suppressed the trauma she has gone through. She didn't go in detail. She didn't disclose anything, but it did give me the impression that she has experienced human trafficking when she was coming, because she was her background was like French, so she was like living from France and like another country. So it was like in that transition of coming to the States. So usually when people are crossing the border too, that's like you're in a very vulnerable position. So I just thought that was like I felt her like that she really needed that, and I liked it. Like, and in regards to, I feel like I helped her.
Yeah.
She helped me in regards to see like, hey, this is important, like the work that we're doing and like these conversations and the awareness. And when I told her about the podcast, she loved the fact that you guys are having this platform and having these conversations.
That's
So
awesome. Did you exchange information or okay? So you keep in touch just in case maybe she wants to talk about it at some point.
Yeah.
If like maybe on the podcast or something.
Yeah, I was
like coffee
thinking
breaker.
that,
yeah, right.
Always working, dog. I like that hustle.
I was
like
thinking,
the
yo,
hustle.
Send me an email.
I got you. That DM us. I got you.
Yeah. I think that would be so great for her to also open up. Like sometimes we just try to bottle things in and thinking like, hey, we'll just pass this. Like, no, like it's important to process those emotions, to let it out, to express that, you know.
Maybe we do like we can even do like an anonymous, maybe
Like
audio only,
virtual, or have like the dark face, like the
like an unlocked character.
yeah, and the, yeah,
right? Is that you?
yeah, and then the voice distorted, if anything.
Wow,
Wait,
look at
wait, think of
this.
That's very extreme.
Maybe,
Like a fake name.
Okay, we're getting.
Okay, stop that. But that's awesome, and I guess the fact that you are in the,
Oh my God.
I think you meet people. I always say it, man. You meet everybody in life for a reason.
Yeah.
The fact, out of all the places that you could have been in the world or in Miami, you were there at the time. Same for her. Who never know what happens. And so, I love what you do for a living, and it's such a proud thing that you can be and going through life helping other people. I love it.
Yeah. Are there any examples that you worked firsthand when it came to human trafficking? Because I know you said the domestic violence was more of your strength, more confident in it.
So I remember I had this case in regards to a transgender client. It was a male transitioning into a woman, and she was at a club. Started at being.
Freaking call these people they, she. I don't even know. We digress.
Well, she referred to herself as she, so she.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyways,
So she worked. I don't know if this is bad, but she worked at the club,
Okay.
and they're also known for a lot of sketchy things.
Oh.
So then, when you guys to like pimps and stuff like that.
I had no idea.
From my understanding, I've never gone, but from my understanding,
It's been a long time.
from what I've heard.
Wait, but hold on. We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
Continue.
So then she started like as a dancer, and then like it was just like one-on-one, like the private
private dances and all that
stuff like that.
Sure.
So then it started. That's where it started. Like the whole process started, and then like her having a relationship with a guy, and then it's like it became an intimate relationship, and it's like, okay, this is my partner, and then slowly exposing her to more, and like parties, and then like, hey, like let's experiment with this, and like let's do these type of drugs, and then it's getting
like
into that.
grooming, slowly grooming her.
Yeah.
And then at one point it was just like, I remember she said that they were flying her out to another country, right, on a private jet with these two guys. And she thought it was a vacation. She was
Andrew
like
Tate?
to Paris or something. And it was, what?
No.
Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Romania. Where did they go?
So
Where
then
did they go? Anyways,
it was a private jet, and she thought she was going like on a vacation. It was just a trip. No, it was literally they paid just to have her on the jet to beat her, rape her.
What?
Yeah. She was like all messed up. As soon as they landed in Paris, she had to go straight to the hospital because of the injuries.
No way.
Yeah. And then that person, I told you, was a transgender.
Yeah.
So then, she was taking hormones. And like another thing that the pimp was doing was like taking the hormones and was like, oh, if you want to,
Continue
this, you got to do
this.
this, or you got to do that. And then it's like, and then you're also in the drugs. So then
my
very convoluted.
God.
And
Yeah.
you met this person, this individual?
Yeah. This was
Afterwards?
in person. This was like a in-person case. And like I even stayed like after hours because I just wanted to get that person to shelter. And it was like a really intense case. And I just wanted to let them know. Oh, and then their family too. Like she had no contact or relationship with her family because the partner made it very clear, like, hey, like we have affiliations, like we're close to gang members, and like, we know where your family lives and all this, and we will hurt them if you contact them or let them know.
But she was that individual. She was close to her family prior to him, or
I don't know all the specifics. I know they lived in another country. They live in another state. They lived in the U.S., but another state, and then she was in Miami.
it's crazy how fast some of these things could happen. Like one thing
In a
you're
blink of an eye.
dancing, and then the next thing you're on a plane. Like it's all fun and games. Like until shit goes down.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was a span of like maybe a few years.
Okay. Yeah.
But because you have to lure the person
very
in.
elaborate.
You know?
Dude,
Yeah.
but think of because instead of like, because you know how hard it is. It's almost, I think of it almost as sales, because at the end of the day, you're selling this person on that. It's so hard to get a sale like on a cold call. You have to like build the relationship
Yeah.
and slowly over time, you know, show your value, show what you can do,
The
and then
consistency.
always popping up. It's like you build familiarity. After a while, you don't even think of this person as a salesman, or in this case, like a predator. You just think of this person as the guy I speak to every day.
Yeah.
And then it turns out that person on the back end has just been slowly manipulating and creating this almost
Like a scenario kind of world.
just like to make you do whatever it is that they want you to do.
Jesus Christ. Almost like kind
An
of like
elaborate plan.
yeah, like the Tinder Swindler. Did you ever watch that?
Oh, yes.
Where it wasn't obviously
Yeah.
it wasn't sex trafficking, but the guy was committing fraud
Yeah.
and like all these elaborate schemes and kind of the same kind of you know, maybe similar tactics where it's
City
like
boy.
City Boy.
It's
No,
fucked up,
no,
it's fucked up,
yeah,
it's fucked up. Hey, but that's a dub for the boys, right?
yeah. But he was like making these women fall in love, like with an idea, with an illusion. And I think maybe with that case, maybe it was something like that in a similar fashion, and maybe that happens to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Where
And
they, go ahead, no,
Sorry,
go
no,
ahead.
especially if you're getting someone at a vulnerable moment, right? That they feel
Has
like
to
very
be.
alone, very
It has
weak.
to be.
And that can happen to anyone, you know, at any stage. Like you can come from a very loving household, and then you know life happens, and like you just are in a low moment, and in that low moment, you just circumstances of life in regards to the wrong person, wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, I think that it kind of sounds like the way to almost, I don't want to say solve, but almost deter is to really focus on the individual from within. I'm looking at this, but it's true. Because if they're feeling like they're in a vulnerable position, or maybe just in life, it's just not going their way, it's, you know, what do you turn to? I mean, I've been in moments in my life that I'm so frustrated. I just don't know what to do anymore. And I just don't care what I do. I'm just like, oh, fuck it. I'll go over here. I'll just stop doing this. I'll walk out of my office. I don't give a fuck. Like, fuck it. You know? And then, you know, you calm down after a while, and then you go back. You're like, okay, shit, this shit passed. But think of the people who don't get over it because of whatever traumas that they're living in every single day. And then it almost creates that environment where if we can find a way to, I don't want to say heal, but to treat people who, you know, have some sort of, I don't want to say mental health issue, because that's kind of where it starts for them to start feeling that, like, that vulnerable. I feel like if we can find a way to really, you know, heal them from within, treat that from within, it kind of puts them in a better position to not allow them to fall into it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No,
okay.
because I am trying to think because in some cases that might be a great solution, but in other cases where people want to come for a better life, when it comes to like the labor, like, okay, I want to come to America, and maybe they get into a position where they can work, but then it's like they have to work extremely long hours for low pay, and then the alternative is their country, so it's like to go back home. So I could see how the situation that you were describing, that they could work for some cases, maybe for that.
But out of what you think, maybe like out of desperation, or
out of desperation, because what's the alternative? What if the alternative is worse?
That's a
then
good
now
one.
it's like, what can I do? How can I get out of here? If you don't, it's maybe
willing to do anything.
Yeah, maybe you're undocumented. Maybe you don't have money. Maybe you don't have resources. Maybe you're literally at the bottom of despair. So it's like that one light is maybe that person that is doing that act, you know. So I would imagine it's not as cut and dry.
Yeah,
It's
I think it's
complexity of
definitely
issues.
not. Yeah, black and white. It's definitely very gray. And then it's also, you know, they start feeling guilty or shame because of, like, you know, they acted on their impulse, right? It was a moment of like impulse. Okay, let me just do this and not think about the consequences or the aftermath. And then, you know, you're already caught up in that cycle or in that situation. Then it's like, how do I get out of this?
Yeah, that's true. Because sometimes you have to take a chance in life to do something. And it just so happens that possibly that one time that you do that impulse and say, fuck it, I'm going to do it, is in the hands of something like this.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's scary. And it's, you know, I know you're not big on the statistics and stuff like that, but I was, as I recall, but I know that the number of these cases is very, very, very much high around not just the U.S., but all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
what?
like
Or
in the human trafficking.
Oh.
Like in general, like maybe like even in a lot of cases in Asia and Southeast Asia and stuff like that, and here as well. So it's like but it doesn't. People don't really talk about it, you
Yeah.
know. And so until maybe like there's a high profile case with maybe like Epstein or whatever.
That's what I'm saying. I feel
Yeah.
like it's just much more common
I
than
would like to believe.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't think people believe that can happen to them until they're like in that situation. They're like, oh, wow, this is happening.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's like also sometimes it's like people question like, oh, how did you even get into that situation? So it's like prevents people from even talking about it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's also like the girl that I met. The reason why she also suppressed that too. I mean, besides like she also feels like she was coming from a very hurt place because she was like, hey, I'm successful and I'm gonna continue thriving and like achieving all my goals, but because like as revenge to the people that did whatever they did. And I was just like, man, like I could tell, like that comes from a wound, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
How do you normally like deal with a lot of these people who come to you? I know you don't. You said you don't handle too many of the cases, but when you do have a case or situation, what is there a certain protocol that you supposed to follow, or maybe that has worked for you?
So we don't report anything, right? So like even if someone is disclosing something to us, we don't report to law enforcement or anything, authorities, unless they're saying like self-harm or like they're disclosing that they want to harm themselves or there's child abuse. Other than that, everything else is confidential. But in my case, I was assisting the client because they were in need of shelter. They needed a safe place because they were escaping the pimp.
And so just to kind of clarify, so if I'm an immigrant and I don't have legal papers, I'm not legally documented, but I am
You can
in that position, I can still go to you
yes, most
and
definitely.
find help.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
You don't
important
need-
because a lot of people might think, "Oh, I can't go because if I go, then they're gonna get reported to the police, and the next thing you know, I'm on my way out of
I'm
here."
really glad that you asked that question.
Okay, and then do you guys have like because when you're talking like finding shelter and all that, like all that costs money, do you and the company that you work with, or the body that you work with, do you guys have like a budget? Is there like money behind that you guys could allocate to these cases?
So I work for the county, right? So
Right.
they get different fundings,
Like different
government
grants or
funding and grants.
Okay.
Yeah. I know at the private sector, they were more clear in regards to like, hey, this is the budget. They were like more communicative to employees.
Yeah.
But thankfully, we haven't experienced, had a situation that we've had to say like, hey, we know we have funding or assistance so we can't help
Okay,
this
yeah. I
person.
was just curious because
So-
see how you guys handle that, because finding shelter and all these things and having your resources does obviously
Yeah.
cost money.
And
It's not free.
shelters are sometimes, all, like full to capacity. So then if that's the circumstance, then, we would have to inquire about hotel.
And that's where budgeting
Yeah.
comes in.
Thankfully, I haven't been like denied.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but we're always going to try to like push for shelter, and then if like there's no other option, then we'll inquire about hotel. But hotel again would be very limited until something becomes available at a shelter.
Yeah, it's like the last resort, obviously.
Yeah.
And then those shelters, they have a lot throughout Miami and
We
And,
only have 4
Broward?
shelters
in the whole city.
in Miami-Dade. There's one in Broward, which is co-ed for women and men.
Okay.
Yeah, we only have one co-ed facility, shelter.
Generally speaking, it's more gravitated towards women, or is it equally distributed?
That shelter that's co-ed, it's actually majority women, but we do have a section for male.
Little corner over there. Hey, you guys go over there.
Closet.
It's
No,
actually
fucked up.
it's a really nice shelter too.
Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, because these people, like, I would just imagine. I can't imagine. I can't imagine what it's like to be at a low point like that, and then you got to find, like refugees in one of these places, and it's like, you must feel so lost.
That is so true. In regards to when I talk to clients or when I'm screening a client or they first come in, I'm always telling them like, no one dreams about going into a shelter, right? It's not the ideal situation, right? But before I worked at a shelter, I didn't know there was a difference between homeless shelter and domestic violence shelters. So,
Oh.
yeah.
Right.
So a domestic violence shelter and human trafficking is confidential. The location is confidential and there's security there 24 hours, also staff 24 hours, 7 days
Well, I
a week.
would figure, it's
But it-
confidential. So if they're trying to avoid,
Yeah.
you know,
But how
show
can you
up
find
there.
a place if it's if you don't know the
That's
address?
why you have to do the hotline, and then you would do the screening, and then we would disclose
make
the
sure-
address.
Is it the
Yeah.
same? Is it the same hotline that you provided to us, or
So that was the national hotline,
Mhm.
and then they'll say the area they're in, and then they'll
Redirect
give
you?
them redirect
okay,
the
we'll put it in the
call to the
description
local
again.
one.
Okay, so
The
Yeah.
local one.
we'll give them the information.
And then, so before I worked at the shelter, I used to think of like, okay, it's like a huge, large space with like 50 or 100 beds and like a whole bunch of like in and outs. So in regards to domestic violence shelters, it's actually, I would describe it as like, have you ever been to a nursing home or like a college dorm? You know,
Yeah.
there's multiple rooms.
Sure.
There's about like 4 to 6 beds in each room. But 2 of our shelters are bunk beds.
Okay.
So then it is communal living, but it's about 4 to 6 people in a room.
So okay.
And then there's a bathroom in the room. So it is like a little bit more
So
private.
it's nice. I mean,
Yeah.
as nice as it can get.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. I mean,
Sounds like prison. I thought it was like prison.
no, and all of our shelters have a different layout too. Like one is like an apartment based shelter. So it's like a 2-bedroom apartment, living room, kitchen. Yeah. So I mean, I think that's amazing, especially for mom and kids. You know.
Rent's expensive, yo. It's fucked up, dude.
No.
I know where your head's at.
No.
So I know what you're
guys.
thinking, dude. You're an asshole. You going,
Well, okay.
yeah, it's not funny, dude.
All right, stop. What I want to talk about is because you even said it earlier, it's not just kids who get trafficked, but it also is a lot of kids. So how do you deal with that when you sometimes have kids that you don't? How are you gonna find a parent? How can you? It's a minor.
So no, we
Yeah.
can't accommodate minors.
So
That's
what
the
do-
only thing.
so
So
what
there
do I
is a
ask for?
shelter that one of my colleagues, she used to work at a kids shelter. So it's about minors. So it's like they usually come from like the juvenile detention center. You know, the parents can have control or like handle the child. Their child's being very rebellious, so they go into this shelter. And I think also they assist like with human trafficking or like minors that don't have their parents.
How long is usually like the stay for them? Because you had said like on homeless shelters, like they're kind of in and out. So
Yeah.
in something like this, how long do they stay within the shelter?
So normally, like before COVID, it was like it's a 6 to 8 week shelter stay, emergency stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like during that time, they're dealing with an advocate, case management. So they're being assisted with different referrals, seeing what they can be helped with in regards to housing, rental assistance. Maybe they just need, like they're already working, they just need some time to save. And then like, that entry in regards to like first, last, and deposit, because they don't have like, they can't save a lot of amount.
Oh,
Yeah.
so that gives them enough time to kind of kind of put some money together.
Yeah.
To then apply it to something.
And then at the shelters too, it's like, there's kitchens that are fully what is it called, like equipped, and then also have like groceries and all this, so they can cook there.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Because the idea is obviously it's not permanent. It's just kind of to
Yeah,
help
it's
get them on
temporary.
get them on the feet and kind of get them out of that environment.
Yeah, it's a transitional.
Yeah.
And you
No,
have
go
a-
ahead, go ahead.
and during their stay, because I know that they are looking for these resources, but like what it's like life within these shelters, like outside of that, what else do they do?
I mean, I would say it's like anyone, right? It's like
You can come
yeah,
and go.
there's no curfew, so they can come in and out of the
So it's
facility.
just like a
as
place
they
to
please.
stay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just a
okay.
roof over your head. Yeah, a safe roof over your head.
But do they also have like maybe resources of, because you had said they meet with the case manager,
Yeah.
right? Are there also like programs that they follow just to kind of like realign
Yeah.
them back to there is?
Yeah, so I think the services like depends changes on what's available at that current moment and with the client, because some services that they can offer, the client would have to be documented. There's certain
Like what?
criteria.
Like what would
Let's say in regards to like if we get an opportunity that we're able to refer to like another housing authority, like let's say Section 8, it's more long term. So then, but they would need to meet like certain criteria for that.
interesting.
But it all depends on like what's available at that moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it's the same thing with children also? Because then how would that go about
Children
it? 'Cause-
is only if it's with the parent. Remember, we can't.
No, I know
What-
you,
oh.
but you said that there was a housing for children also.
Oh, that shelter, but yeah, I don't. That was a shelter
that you don't work
my,
with.
Yeah,
Oh,
my
but you're not-
colleague used to work at.
So you don't
that's
work
what I
with kids. Have you ever worked with kids directly or?
I worked with kids like in the shelter.
Okay.
So like if they needed to talk, if I was doing their initial intake when they first got there, just to get their information and like ask them questions in regards to like, how are they processing, how are they feeling, things like that.
Because there's a lot of kids, they get trafficked, they get kidnapped. I mean, it's not only kids, but
Yeah.
it's a lot of them. And then it's like, how can you track their parents? And how when you next thing you know, you're in a different city, in a different country.
Yeah,
like that must be
Yeah.
a maze of like, like things that are going on. Because
like
what can you do? What can't you do? Because things always become more complicated when there's a minor involved, I guess. All right.
No, I agree. I think it's a lot of obstacles, but yeah, I do not have the information for that.
Okay, you don't
So I don't want to give.
No, no. I get you. Okay.
Yeah.
So I had one question because can you give us some warning signs, some red flags that let's say I'm dating or I met somebody.
In regards to human trafficking or domestic violence?
Human trafficking.
Human trafficking.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you can or if
if you have some.
yeah.
Damn, I should have brought a wheel.
Yeah.
Where's that?
Yeah, I didn't know. Okay, so
If not, I mean,
Yeah, because I think I remember that we had gone over the one for domestic violence.
yeah, we have gone over
Yeah.
the domestic violence one, but I'm figuring like maybe you meet somebody and maybe they ask you certain questions or they
because
push you in a certain direction. How do I know? How can I
No,
prevent
more
that?
so how we were talking earlier because they're almost like luring you in. That's
Yeah.
taking time, but because it almost feels like they're either hitting on me or maybe they just want to be my friend, and I don't have any.
Yeah.
So how, like, when does it start to turn where you should be like, oh, look out for these?
yeah. So I don't feel as confident talking about it, but I would say like maybe showering that person with like a whole bunch of like gifts and like, taking care of them and nurturing them, like, like in regards to trust and all that, like that takes time, to
Sure.
build. So like when this person's right off the bat is like being so trusting, so warm and like opening their doors to you, and I think that's a little concerning.
Man, that's true because I feel like most people will see that as oh my God, I feel like I've known this person forever. Like
Yeah,
everything is just
they
so
care
natural,
about
like
some-
so easy.
Yeah.
And then it just turns out that it's all part of their.
Elaborate scheme. But sometimes you just click with somebody. So it's like,
That's kind. Yeah,
so how do
exactly.
you like, how can I prevent
but even-
myself from
But
being
I
a-
mean, you would okay in regards to click though. I would have to know I would have to have some insight about you, right? Like to get to know you, would have to have like conversations,
Yeah, you can't
like
just.
more over like superficial conversations.
That's what I
surpass
think.
that.
Because when you really click with someone, you almost overlook a lot of things because you're so like into it, with this click that you're not really paying attention to the flags that are there, whether they're
Yeah.
red, green, they all look the same at that point.
Yeah.
So I think after a while, I think you just have to kind of approach things a little bit more logically. Like, dude, we've only been talking for a week and like
You already
I'm being
want- yeah.
showered and all these things, like making me feel like I'm like we've known like
Yeah.
we don't
Let's
know
slow
each
down
other
a
that
little
long.
bit.
Yeah, I think maybe.
You know how I mentioned like the Shia LaBeouf interview
Yeah.
last time. So his partner that he was with, Twigs, right? I don't know the first three initials. I don't want to butcher it, but
Okay.
she speaks amazing. Like I loved her interview, but she was saying that when they first started, like she was so infatuated with him, and like she just thought that he was like so over the top, so romantic, and like he would like even jump like her fence and like be like give her flowers, a bouquet of flowers and gifts, and just like, yeah, I just really missed you. But that's also crossing a boundary, like even physically, like you're jumping someone's fence.
Yeah, but he
You know?
wanted to win her over, no?
Yeah, but
That's intense.
I mean, that's okay. You don't want to know what the problem is? You've watched too many movies. Because, yeah, you're romanticizing this shit. Yeah, because if you look at all these stories of people throwing rocks at the window and they're like, oh, baby, you.
Playing with a guitar.
Yeah, with a freaking boombox in the rain. Like, yeah, it was romantic. It's like, oh, it's so cute. But, dude, that's fucking creepy. How do you know where I live? How'd you get
You
here?
follow me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see?
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
I feel like I wanted to go back to something that you said earlier, that it was regarding that you said that in the shelters they're mostly women and then the guys get a little corner over there. Do you feel like it's probably because most men just don't feel comfortable voicing maybe their experiences, or do you really feel that there's probably less domestic violence when it comes to men?
So
'Cause I feel like most men, they're kind of like ego won't allow them to.
I would say like,
seek help.
majority will be women, I actually was going back and forth with my colleague because she was like, yeah, but you really got to emphasize that women. But I'm like, no, I want to make sure that it's like it's equal. Like, like men can also feel comfortable in regards to coming out and like talking about their experience. Because I feel like, they think, oh, it's only a woman that can go through that. Like, so it's their ego, their pride, or like, who's going to believe me? Because I'm a male.
Yeah.
If anything, you should be emphasizing men because the fact that it's already almost like a given,
I mean,
unfortunately.
both.
But yeah, no,
Yeah,
I get
yeah.
it. But because what your colleague was saying, like emphasize the woman. Well, I feel like women are emphasized every single day when it comes to these things. Obviously, unfortunately, it is happening to women, but it's also happening to a lot of men. Probably more men than we would know because a lot of men don't even
They're not comfortable
speak up
Yeah.
about
talking
it.
about
So
that, yeah.
I think it's important to, sure, even the playing field, so to speak, but also, encourage men to speak up as well.
Especially in a world where just being masculine is toxic at this point. They just you haven't heard of the whole thing of toxic masculinity
course,
just by
yeah.
being a man. Just if I do a certain thing that's just manly, it's because I'm toxic and stuff like that. I feel like now more than ever, I think we went into a phase of a lot of mental health issues. Speak out, talk about things, and I feel like everyone says, "Damn, contagious, got you."
No, it wasn't a young.
Oh, yeah, I got you. Yeah, I'm getting those too from the probiotics. But yeah, I feel like before it was more like, yeah, let's talk, let's be more open. I mean, even Kevin Love, the NBA basketball player, that there was a point that he was being very vocal about stuff. And then maybe it turned everyone a little bit too weak, you think? Or do you think maybe it just kind of opened up the door to really almost putting...
What's weak?
That's I don't know, but that's the word that they would say that they want to call most I guess nowadays, now with toxic masculinity, now there's like this combat of men wanting to be more masculine to combat this weakness that they say of I don't even know at this point.
I think a lot of people mistake vulnerability with weakness.
We
Right.
talk about that.
Yeah.
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 I think it's okay to be like. I think being masculine is great, and it's encouraged, and I celebrate being masculine. But I think there's, true masculinity is not defined by I can't be vulnerable. I can't be, I can't let my guard down. With the right people, with the right person, I think it's okay, and it's even healthy to be soft and to be, let yourself go and let and just be compassionate and be a loving person. That doesn't mean that you're a soft guy or that you're weak or anything like that. I think there's a little bit of a misconception. But I think there's a place and a time for everything.
Yeah.
There's a time and place to be strong, and to be a leader and to be a man, and then there's a time also to be, and to kind of let your guard down, be you.
I think it's funny that you say that because I read it somewhere else and something I've always thought of. I think it's important for men to feel vulnerable and to be able to talk about things.
Yeah.
But because they say, oh, well, then if you talk too much about, to your woman, then the woman's going to, lose interest in you. That's how you lose a woman, by talking about your problems. Like, you're not supposed to have problems. You're supposed to have that strong character. You're not supposed to feel whatever. I think a true man will feel vulnerable and will be able to talk about those issues and whatever's on his mind, but then will do something about it. I think most men are problem solvers. And maybe if they don't know how to solve the problem, find a way to get closer to the solution. So if you are feeling some certain ways, because imagine if I complain to you about my job every single fucking day, but I do nothing else about it, what am I doing? Like, I'm just continuing a problem. And at that point, I feel like, yeah, we can talk about those. I don't feel like I need to be, I'm just not going to talk about my day as shitty as it was. I'm just going to have a strong face because I'm providing, financial support to this family, all this bullshit, whatever. I think it's, you know what? I had a fucking shitty day. I was super stressed out. There's times that I'm even in tears in my girlfriend's arms, but it's like, what do I do after that? Yeah. And then that's what defines me as a man. It's how I solve the problem.
In regards to the problem solving, but I don't think every man is like, or majority are problem solvers, right? Or even women, right? Because I think it comes down to a human thing. Sorry. But it's in regards to, sometimes you have to talk about it to be able to, also, learn the tools and start, practicing.
Or even hear yourself. Even that
hear yourself and so you can reflect, and also then you can start thinking of solutions, you know. But I think you guys carry healthy masculinity. You guys are very alpha, very dominant, but you guys are also very expressive, right? So I think
compassionate.
Vulnerable.
Compassionate, vulnerable, sharing
care.
your personal details.
Yeah.
I love when you guys share about your personal lives. I feel that's when the audience really gets a picture of who you guys are, you know.
Yeah.
And you guys also you shared heartbreaks. You shared in regards to your past relationships, even in regards to your family background. And I think that resonates with many people.
Real one, dog.
I love it.
Yeah, I think we have very similar upbringings, and then you and I have similar outlooks. But I feel like you're the relationship you guys have had, because it's been so consistent on the podcast. You guys have audience can see how you're how you guys have like the healthy relationship between you two, right? You guys have helped each other grow and evolve. And like I've seen like your perspective shift also, you know?
Super shift.
Yeah. Like I remember you even said in regards to like you've always been super open in regards to like, oh, what's the problem, Marvin? Like, why do you care if the person has OnlyFans? Like, why is that a problem? You know, it's like
yeah, switched up real quick.
And then
Switched up real quick.
and then there's no problem with it, right? You know, to each their own.
Sure.
But you feel more comfortable and confident in who you are and like what you bring to the table. And you use this word in regards to, oh, you felt like you were begging in the past. Like for
I
women.
remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's more in reference to like, you just know what you bring to the table, right? And it's like, you're coming more from a lens of like, instead of like, does this person like me? You're operating from a lens like, do I like this person?
Yeah.
And I think it like contributes to the relationship between you two. You know, you guys have helped each other evolve and grow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you've
so
even
much.
like brought in your perspective in regards to like,
Ooh,
like
dating.
not having like you know, like such tunnel vision in regards like, hey, this is the way I see it and that's the only way. Like
Well, you had a change, a shift on single mothers. Remember
Yes.
that episode?
Oh, that was a big
Yes.
one. Yeah. Because I was very like, I mean, obviously I was younger, you know, time things change. I was at the time, I think it was like my 27,
Yeah.
28.
There's
But I was
nothing
like,
wrong with that, by the way. I
No,
just
of
wanted to
course.
disclose,
Yeah, no. And I'm not saying like I'm going to fucking go around
Yeah.
and try to fucking find a single mom. I'm not saying that. But I'm not as shut off as I used to be to that idea anymore. And because, you know, part of it is because of the guests that we've had on, you know, and the conversations that we've had. And a lot of
Really,
the
it like changed your perspective like that?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying like it's obviously, would it be the ideal situation? Of course not. No, like I
But
don't
if
think
you
any
do
guy.
find
But if I do find a woman who in the right condition, you know, there's a connection, and if the kid is in the right age, the things have the stars have to align in order for it to work, I think. But I don't think it's impossible.
yeah.
And so
Okay.
it's just kind of part of the growing up, and the audience, I'm sure has, you know, like you said, has listened to it as well and kind of experienced it too. So
No, yeah,
I'm
I'd
very
love
happy
to
with it.
see. I'd love to watch it because, and it really shows in regards to like the relationship between you two, and you guys are so supportive of each other and like hyping each other up, and I'm like,
yeah.
that's amazing.
pussy.
Yeah, I mean, recording for 3 years, it'll do that for you,
And I've
especially
known you for how long? 9, 10?
what,
11,
10 years,
10?
10 years.
Two
No, more than that. Realistically,
Wow.
for like
What
14.
year is it?
I'm 30. We're
Wait, how
30,
did you guys
dude.
meet?
We've known each other since we're like 17.
Oh, that's true. High school. That's true.
Yeah, we met through
When you came from Germany.
when I came end of my sophomore year, junior year, you
That's what
know,
I
and
meant,
so at this point, 13 years.
2010, yeah. Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah,
I've known you for way too long.
it's
Crazy, dude.
Yeah. So it's been a great journey, and you're right. You know, like some of our views today might not be the views that we have in 2 or 3 or 5 years. You know, all we can do is just evolve and have the dialogue, and that's what we're doing.
I think we're living proof of what it is that we're trying to share with everyone. If you think about it,
Yeah,
you know, listening to conversations,
being
and
honest, being vulnerable,
being vulnerable,
being open to
Healthy
change,
masculinity.
being fair,
masculine.
being healthy, masculine, alpha males, I guess you can say.
Yeah,
But it's true. I think the fact that we've been able to have all these conversations and be able to educate ourselves, and not just because of an expert, you know, someone within the field, but someone who's just gone through it from their own upbringing, just like single mothers of what they've gone through. It's been so impactful that it's been able to reshape your mind rather than you being like, oh, fuck single moms. Oh, having a baby is only mine. I'm not having somebody else's kid. To, hey,
maybe in the right circumstance, if it happens, it
perfect,
happens.
most perfect circumstances.
Yeah.
But it's possible.
It is possible, you know, probably not likely, but hey, you know, you never know. And so again, you were saying it earlier, like, you know, in terms of being like, I think you have a healthy level of masculinity. You're strong. You're a leader. You can take charge. You're very logical. But also, you were saying like you can go home to your girlfriend, to Christina, and you're not afraid to cry and say, I've had a terrible day at work and I don't know what to do and I just need to vent to you because if not, I'm going to explode. And so you said that. So, you know, and obviously Christina's a great woman, but you didn't think that you can vent to her. And if you did think that way, then it's like, who are you with? You know? And so I feel the same way with my girlfriend, you know? So yes, we have great partners, but also we're very secure in ourselves. To the point that yes, I can. I know I can be vulnerable. I know I can let my guard down. Doesn't mean I'm gonna go home every day fucking crying to my girlfriend. Obviously not. But I'm not afraid to vent and just kind of let go around her. You know?
I also
it's
think
important.
that the podcast has also helped us because we be saying some stupid shit in front of these cameras sometimes. Sometimes it don't even make sense, and that happens to me all the time.
Like
But
what do you mean?
like, no, I just kind of, I'll go on a tangent. I'm like, what the fuck was I going with this? I'm like, but then I'm like, you know, people are watching, this is recording, the editor's not going to take it out.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I just don't care if I sound stupid. So it's the same approach that I have just with everything. So to your point, you're like, oh, you know what you bring to the table. It's just because I just don't care. You know, a lot of times, like, you're right. Like, I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at. And if people make fun of me for, you know, the things that I'm not good at, I laugh too because I know I'm not good at it or whatever it may be, however you want to compare that. So yeah, I approach it, and then that way, if again, people, they don't like something about me, well, hey, tough titties, I'm just not for you then, you know, and it's not like I'm trying to make it difficult for us, but if we're not meant to click, we're just not meant to click. It is what it is, dude. Hey, nice to meet you anyways. I learned something new about you, but that's it. And I think that's how it should be approached. But yeah, it goes to that. You got to know what you bring to the table.
I like that. And maybe you're just not for them. I like that.
Yeah.
You know, you're not for them. You're not for everybody. That's the reality of it. And I always say there's billions of people out there in this world. You think everybody's gonna like you? You think everybody's gonna be on the same page?
Or better yet, are you gonna really stress yourself out because some people don't like you when there's so many others? And that was a problem that you had. Remember with your book, your first book. This guy was booty hurt when he was getting. Yeah, we had talked about it. He was so booty hurt because of some people having negative comments on his book.
Like he had like 1,000 people saying how good, and six of them,
And it's like, I gotta go over these 6. I can't believe that these 6 people, and I'm like, what happened to the other 900?
Oh, the other ones. Yeah. And so it's interesting because the same kind of applies to who we bring on the podcast. Like, everybody's loves to be on a podcast and talk and and like, oh yeah, and we tell them, how did you like it? Was everything okay? Yeah, whatever. Episode goes out, clips go on social media. They start there's maybe some negative feedback. Ultimately, most of it is going to be very well received, but there's always going to be some people who think they have a better response, a better way of doing it, so they share their feedback. They maybe say certain things that aren't really as nice, and then the person that we had on the show, they become like defensive, like, oh my god, like I don't know what to do with it. We've had a couple of those guests where like like all the guests who've complained, like, oh my god, I didn't think people were gonna take it this way.
I take things out of context. I loved your story recently because like I love that you addressed it and like you made it clear, like, hey, like everyone, like I didn't personally like resonate with everything, but the fact that they're like being so secure,
I can respect that. I can like we've had a guest on recently, and I didn't agree with everything she had said, and even challenged her on some of it, and I said, you know, like, is this right or whatever, in a respectful manner. But I'm not gonna sit here and say, well, she's not worthy of being on our podcast. Yeah. And we've had a couple, like people have messaged me. I've seen some of the comments are like, oh, don't bring this person on the podcast. Well, it's like
how are you going?
Don't tell me what I can do with my own podcast. Yeah. Don't tell me who I can bring on. And if you think you have a better view, then come on, tell me, and we'll talk about it. But a lot of people, they can talk behind, you know, a phone or whatever. But when they see the feedback that they receive, all of a sudden it's not as pretty as it is. So we've gotten thick skin over the years. I like that
you reference that because it can also be intimidating for a future guest. Like, oh, do I even want to put myself out there if I'm gonna get this backlash? Or take things out of context.
I get
that.
But
it's like we gotta show people, like, we gotta have more compassion for one another because, like you said in regards to like you just don't care. I think it's in regards to not everyone's gonna like us. But it's in regards to, like, okay, we have strengths, and, like, we shouldn't be judged because of our parts of us are work in progresses, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Especially, there was a video, I think it was A$AP Rocky that said it. It's like, oh, like, you know what it is? Like, how much of a fool you are to make fun of somebody for trying to do something. So it's like a lot of people who have weaknesses, it's because they either are afraid of doing it or they just don't want to look dumb. And I think of it almost like at the gym, you know, when you go to the gym, and sometimes when you see someone like that's heavy for the first time, a lot of times they don't want to go to the gym because they feel like, oh, they're going to make fun of me, or how am I going to look? And it's like, I root those people on. I'm like, you motherfucker are showing up to this fuck ass place knowing how difficult it could be, but it's because you're fucking trying. So that's why I feel like when people don't have strengths and they have weaknesses, but then they try, I mean, the only way we know that they have the weakness is because they try and they fail. Right? So when you see that, you're like, man, but I give you credit, you know, because not everyone has the balls to try. So the fact that, you know, when you have your weaknesses, I find it beautiful. In fact, I think in one of the segments that we're doing for the book and the whatever, it was that, like, insecurities, I feel like, are beautiful. I think that's what makes, like, you. Let's say, for example, you have some big ass feet, and you walk in here and you're like, man, I'm gonna wear the certain type of shoes so then it doesn't look like my feet are that big. But the whole time I'm not worrying about your shoes, and maybe I'm worrying about my receding hairline, and this whole time you're here worrying about that shit, and I don't give a fuck about your big ass feet. I'm worried about that you're not noticing about my hairline. So it's like this whole entire time, like, I'm here worrying about shit, and that's why I feel like that's what makes you you. So back to that, there's going to be things that make, like, you're not going to click. You're not going to be for everyone. And it could be because, oh man, they probably don't like big feet and they're going to look at my big feet. But who gives a fuck? Because you're going to find out other people who love feet.
Yeah.
There's even fucking Feet Finder. You can sell feet pics online. People want big ass feet. So it's things like that. It's like, don't worry and don't get tied up into like whatever those little small negativities are, because at the end of the day, it's all part of life. It's all part of you. I think it's beautiful.
I love that you mentioned in regards to like the gym atmosphere, in regards to like if someone was like more insecure, in regards to like if they were more on the heavy side and all this, like it's hard getting into shape, you know. But what I love about the gym, right, in regards to like community, right, because it's like we all think like you know, some people feel isolated or misunderstood, but what everyone has in common in that gym is that everyone's investing in themselves, right? And in regards to like any other like group activities too, like yoga, breath work, ice plunges, like everyone is just trying to like discover and like be their best and healthiest version, you know, because we've all gone through stuff, because, you know, like the ups and downs and the in-betweens of life. And I think that's so empowering and beautiful. Like, so if we were able to like see, like, have those lens of more compassion and like understanding like, hey, we're not alone, and like there's other people that are like, you know, looking for these tools to help themselves just like I am, you know, I'm more in community, you know. And I think community plays a huge role.
Community,
We gotta sign her up to Zoom. Andre, we got another one coming here.
He's gonna need it. Okay. But no, it's so important because it's all who you surround yourself with. You can't do it alone. You know, you can't do life alone, no matter how good you think you are, or, you know, how good you even are. You need people around you.
Yeah.
And if that's in the gym, you watch other people, they do good, you're going to try to be better. Or, you know, if they don't do good, you help them be better. You know, and I think that's the thing about life. It's the connections that you meet, you know, with other people. So
speaking of, you got something to say?
I was going to say, I think everyone has a light. You know, I think I reference it into like, you know, the moon, right? Like the moon is not full like the whole month, right? So it's like sometimes the light's not as bright, but it's like everyone has a light in themselves, but like because of circumstances of life, trauma, just like tough upbringings, they, you know, like it gets a little dim, right? Like, you know, and they have to start, so we have to embrace that, because then we just start shitting on people's characters and who they are, like for their mistakes or the bad side of themselves. But like no one's 100% good, no one's 100% bad. So if we can just help each other like ignite and like not be so critical, like have if you put yourself in that person's shoes, then like, okay, you might be more understanding, like, oh, this is why this person does this, you know?
Empathy,
I can see that. Maybe they're having a bad day or a bad week or a bad
You're
month.
gonna judge me on my whole character on that one bad day?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, or just like even an upbringing, like a really crappy, shitty upbringing. You know, like I heard recently I had someone disclose a story to me. It's public record, but just putting that out there. But in regards to, you know, there was this case that they were, it was a man that he had to go on probation because he was a sexual predator, right? And then it's like they can't put him on probation because he has no residence. He doesn't have a home. But it's like he can't find a home because, you know, he can't be around a school. He can't be 100% in school, daycare, or church. So then it gets really hard to find a place. You know, it gets very limited. And then once you start getting like ripping back the layers, right, you start seeing, oh, this person was sexually molested by their mother. Right. So then the person that they molested was their sister. But then that's also like, that was the environment that they were brought in. Like, did he know any better? Right. Because of his own mother. I'm not justifying it. Right. It's a really hard topic.
But it's still having some sort of empathy of putting yourself in that situation and try to see why he would make those choices. And
then hopefully like someone that's like sees that, understands that, and like has that knowledge and those tools can like help him like understand like, hey, how that wasn't normal, to be able to reframe that, to go back into society, into like a healthy individual, because we don't want a person to be stagnant and stay in their ways, you know.
I think you're touching on something really great, but it's rehabilitation.
Yeah.
And I feel like this
Bum, bada,
country,
bum.
yeah, I feel like this country doesn't really value that as much. Like, and a lot of people are focused. You commit a crime, you commit an offense, the punishment.
Jail.
Yeah, straight to jail. But like, what happens to you in jail? Like, certainly in this country, in other countries, they do a little bit of a different approach. And it's like, I understand punishment is important if we live in a society. You commit a crime, you have to, do your time. It's just the reality of it. But a lot of times, those people come out of prison a lot worse than they came in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
like institutionalized.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, dude, like, where are we bringing these people?
And what do you expect?
Exactly. Like, what do you expect? Yeah, you can get a GED, get a degree in college, stuff like that. But I think there's more to it, like therapy, there's one-on-one coaching, mental health. A lot of these people they've never had anyone care about them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to send them to prison in a 4x4 cell with these people who are just going to try to kill themselves every single day. Anybody would come back out of there
and
crazier.
You're experiencing so much, like, rape in prisons is so high.
Yeah, it's another thing. So it's like,
Imagine the people that were like arrested or like 10, 20 years ago. When you come back out, it's like you don't even recognize the world.
Y'all never seen Shawshank Redemption?
Oh my God, I love that movie. Favorite movie.
You never seen that movie, dude?
Yo, such a great movie.
What is it called?
It's a 2 hour.
It's almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
Dude, what is it called? Morgan Freeman and I forget the lead.
What is it called?
Shawshank, SHAW, SH. Should probably pop up already.
Yeah.
Such a great movie.
How many hours? Oh no, 2 hours.
Oh, I may have watched this a long time ago.
That movie. Well, regardless, but there was a scene where there was an older gentleman who I think he's been there forever. And he was working like in the library, and again, he's very old. And they finally say, "Hey, like you're being released, like you're good, get out of here." And it almost felt like for years he was avoiding leaving because all he knew was inside.
That was his home.
Once he went to the outside and he saw how fast everything was and the cars that were driving, he's just like, "What the fuck is this?" In the movie, he ends up taking his own life. I guess he couldn't take the pressure, and it's kind of funny because then at the end of the movie, I don't want to spoil it, but when the other person they end up coming out, I'm not going to tell you exactly how it finishes, but then he also has to adapt. And then I'm really big into movies, so I saw like a comparison that they were showing how you can see that the older gentleman who got released and he couldn't get out, like in his head he was just still like wanting to stay in. He was holding on to, like, when he was on the bus, he was holding on to the seat in front of him, while the other guy who was out, he was like laid back, chilling, So it's almost like the perspective of showing like how being in prison for so long can really like institutionalize you to the point where you can't find some sort of solutions or any way of getting over it.
Yeah, I gotta watch this movie, but I was reading there was one story recently and it caught my attention, and it was a guy who was wrongfully convicted. He spent many years in prison. He got released and he ended up committing a completely separate crime. I think he ended up killing somebody. And so a lot of people are saying, well, what happened to him in prison wasn't even, he got sentenced to prison.
Wow.
It wasn't his fault. I think for 20 plus years, 15, 20 years. What did that do to his mind? I'm not justifying his crime. Obviously, he did what he did. He should be prosecuted for that.
Yeah, well, I didn't even think of that.
But think about what he went through for 15, 20 years. Think about some
wrongfully
convicted. And
I'm sure after a while you just convince yourself like, maybe I fucking did do something.
Or maybe I'm not worthy of being outside. Like 15 years, 20 years in a
Or you just start saying so much bad shit and just like
and
I
bad
can't
shit.
even.
You tell yourself bad shit. You're around bad people in an environment that just breeds crime, violence, drugs, addiction. Then you come out to a reality that you don't really know. It's based on what you were saying too, and it's like anything could trigger you, and you just become kind of unstable. So I think that's a big thing. Like rehabilitation is so important, and I think we don't put enough value on it.
Yeah.
Because I think people do deserve a second chance, or people do deserve at least some form of trying to make them better, trying to understand. Even if they don't ever get a chance to become free again, let them understand what went wrong and why, So I think that's important.
Like, so this is also in reference to like last time I said that I wasn't a big fan of labels, but I didn't elaborate why I said that. I just feel like many people get fixated on a label, right? So they get fixated and like they make that their identity. And I think it helps to like compartmentalize, but like we are very complex humans and we have many layers to us. So it's like understanding and like embracing each part of us, right? So in regards to like for instance, my mom. My mom, she's a survivor of domestic violence. She's also suffered from alcoholism. She suffers from depression. She's also a very funny person. She's very corny, very loving,
This is my
very
dad.
giving.
No, not for nothing. Doesn't sound like my dad. Not
So
domestic violence, but everything else was like spot on.
yeah.
Oh, maybe.
And she was like years suffering from alcoholism, right? And it was like, and like for the majority of that time, I couldn't grasp or understand why. Like, why can't you stop? Like, you know, it's just like you're suffering and you're suffering the ones around you. And then it was to like one of my colleagues, my friend, she was telling me like, hey, one of these components with addiction is like the shame, right? Because you sober up and then you just start feeling shameful in regards to like your history, like all the mistakes you've made. And then in regards to like, to not feel those uncomfortable emotions, let me just go back at it again and drink and numb those uncomfortable emotions and ignore it. And then it's a cycle. Then it's addiction. That's what you're relying on. Then like alcohol is one of those drugs that actually like your body is like starts craving. And it's like even to get like to cut it out, you should get medical attention to like stop the alcohol because you can go into like different
shock,
health
no?
Really?
conditions. Yeah, it's actually really serious in regards to like my mom. Like she started she cut cold turkey because of like medical issues. She got like an accident, so she was hospitalized for many
she
weeks.
had no choice.
So she had no choice. But then she started substituting alcohol with sweets, with desserts.
Oof.
But then that's also dangerous because then you can go into
So it's
you
just
become
like
diabetic.
an addictive personality at this point, like a trait.
I think it's because we're not teaching people or giving people like tools in regards to like how to like regulate your emotions and like giving them healthy strategies like working out. And like working out, not even focusing on the physical of it. Like the physical is a bonus, but like, you know, some people can't even focus on the physical results because they have underlying health conditions that they can't even like, you know, lose weight or anything like that. But focus on the mental and the emotional reward, like the mental clarity, the emotional clarity you get from that. Like,
And the feeling
internally
of
feel
like
good.
overcoming and also
Yeah.
like seeing results
And
as
showing
well.
up for yourself.
And showing up for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
crazy. Yeah.
and then like our breath work, you know, breathing exercises. Like everyone's like, oh, I know how to breathe. Like, no, like actually like doing breathing exercises can help you, you know, release stress.
I've heard of that.
Like
too.
meditation, almost like.
I've been hearing
No,
more and more
no.
about this. I've been hearing more and more about
Yeah.
this. I want to get into it.
I have a person for you. I have a person.
A person? Okay.
Yeah,
Everyone's
and like
contact.
we also do. He does ice plunges as well.
Well,
So-
I want to get into that too, but those things are expensive, dog.
Where does he do it?
Well, he charges 30, but it's
A
30,
pub?
but 30, and it's like a whole experience. Because I've heard for people, they just like, okay, you show up now and like you get into the bucket. You know,
I don't need an
he does a
experience.
whole
I just gotta
experience.
dive in.
He
that's
does
it.
breath work and like warm up
Experience.
techniques, and then you transition to the ice plunge.
Dude.
So it's a whole experience.
And it's $30 a session. I
Yeah,
guess,
I
right?
hope they don't like change the price, but yeah.
I was talking more about like getting my own plunge.
Oh,
put it in
but
a
you know they're
bucket.
not that bad on
No?
Amazon.
I
Like the
have-
individual one.
I have to check them out.
I bought. Well, it's not just having like you got to buy it. They're not expensive if you get like a small one, but then getting the ice
Yeah.
and like if you're gonna do it like the cold plunge and then how are you gonna get it? You know, on a consistent basis, it adds up. I tried
Yeah.
it for like 2 days and I was like, this is not viable to do.
Why? What was it?
Because right, like I
You have to go to
couldn't.
the store and get like.
I would go to the gas station and you would have to get like fucking 10 bags. And ice is
Really?
not cheap, but then that's each time because then the next day it's not as cold anymore.
Mm-hmm.
If you put it outside, then it's gonna get hot, so you have to keep it inside. If you don't have it inside and outside, you need even more ice.
It's an investment. It's an investment. But like in regards to like Wim Hof, he's like the one that's like known in regards to like starting these techniques
Right.
and also the breath work. So it like goes hand in hand. So I love it. So it's just encouraging people to try new things, like what works with for them, like what works
Yeah.
for me. Like I like to journal, like when I have a lot of anxiety or I just feel like I don't feel like I have mental clarity. Like journaling definitely helps me. Going to the beach, like that's my place. Like it just brings me so much happiness and peace, and I just feel like, you know, at home, and I can like gather my emotions, and I feel more emotionally regulated and less impulsive. So it's just like telling people like to like dabble in regards to like healthy strategies, not going partying or drinking or drugs.
To numb.
Yeah,
you know,
like
to numb.
unhealthy
What's-
coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
You know.
Like what works for you guys?
Like when I'm like stressed or, I mean,
Easy. I'll go first. I'll give you time to think about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Exercising and weed.
I know.
A whole lot of weed.
I don't really smoke weed.
I
Obviously,
do. I enjoy marijuana a lot.
I mean, I work out almost every day. So for me, it's stress or no stress. I do it. Obviously, when you're stressed, it kind of it's almost a better. Even you get a better workout.
Yeah.
In sometimes
When you're stressed?
sometimes, yeah, because it's a way for you to relieve
Really?
all that tension and pressure,
Nah.
and maybe even
I get two in my
anger.
head. I get two in my head when I'm stressed.
You see, yeah, what works for one might not work for the
Yeah.
other, and that's
No,
what's
of course,
so
of
important.
course.
Like I
you
can't
know?
go if I go to the gym stressed. Like I'm like not working. I'm not operational.
You're
My
like
head's just not
anxious?
in the game. Yeah, my head's not in the game.
Okay.
But too bad. You know, maybe I should, because maybe I then erase what's going on in my head, and then all I'm focused on. Because that's what I love about going to the gym, especially when I go to Zoom. You ain't got time to think about anything but what's on the board.
Yeah.
Another time, I don't even know what's the next thing. I gotta look at it. And then when you're done, that's when it's almost like, man, what a workout. You know. And then the problems, you know, you start to see things differently. Maybe
Yeah.
I should try it. I should try it.
Yeah, do it. I mean,
But I'm not stressed at 6 in the morning.
exactly. If you are, it's a different problem.
You wake up, yeah, no, that would be another problem. That would be another problem.
But yeah, no, I working out definitely helps. Too bad lately. What I started doing is me and my girlfriend we walk around like the block, like we do like a little
In the community?
Yeah,
Here
like
in
going
the-
for a walk because once around is like half a mile.
Mhm.
So we just go around. You know, if the sun is nice, if the weather is good. And lately it's been raining like crazy, so it
That's
Yeah.
hot too. It's
doesn't
getting
really.
hot.
Yeah, it's like humid as fuck. But like just going for a walk, you know, and kind of clearing your head is also good. So it just depends. I want to do more yoga and I want to do more other things, stuff like that. It's just been so busy with work and then
Yeah.
like, the podcast.
Nature is good too. I like going
Nature.
outside, getting some
Yeah.
sun.
You go outside, you have like the beach right there. That's nice, dude. I don't have that. I go outside. That's how you live.
Dude, when I was
You
in
can still enjoy the sun.
No, the sun.
Create a
sure.
little environment, you know?
Yeah,
Create your own
dude.
environment.
You gotta do what? Yeah, you gotta work with
Yeah.
what you got.
when I was in this last ski trip in the morning, I was still waking up early, believe it or not. I would wake up early
Yeah.
and I'd start getting the
6
coffee
a.m.?
ready.
5 a.m.
I was waking up at 5, 6 a.m. Yeah, I swear. In fact, I was working on the things I told you.
Yeah, yeah.
I was doing that while homegirl was still sleeping. And when the sun was coming out, I would go outside and just sit there and get some sun in my face. Cold as fuck. I was just there getting sun. Sun is the best, dude.
Sounds great.
Yeah, you gotta get some more sun. Yeah, that's what I do.
It's definitely a medicine.
So good.
What else did you wanna?
No, do you have anything else? Because remember, the last time we had you down, you were like, I want to talk about this.
Oh,
And then we ran
so
out
I
of
thought we
time.
were gonna dive in regards to like personal,
Too bad I was going to
Personal
get
what?
there.
like personal, like life
Like
I've
your-
done in regards to like
your personal situation. Because
yeah, I'm an open book. Yeah.
all right,
So
'cause-
I just thought it was interesting in regards to you guys focus a lot in regards to like romantic relationships. I mean, I'm single, but I think
was
that's
gonna get
also an
into that too,
important
yeah.
relationship as well. You know, the relationship with yourself.
most important one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, speaking of, yeah, we did talk about a little bit earlier about connections and, you know, those people around you, whatever. What's your situation? Because as you said, you are single.
Okay, so actually, it was something that I had brought up to you like a year ago. Like I had messaged you guys in regards to, I think a lot of people, once they end with a partner, they just automatically go to like bashing that relationship or that partner. And it's like, that's not the healthiest and that doesn't serve.
You mean when they break up with
Yeah,
the partner and then they
Like when they split.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't know. I wanted to give like, I don't know if we have the time though.
We got time.
You sure?
You got time?
Yeah, we got time. We got a little time.
We got some time.
What are you thinking? What are
Okay.
you thinking about? Tell me.
Yes, just say it already.
Where are you going with this?
So I think it's in regards to like learning from our experiences, right? Like, you know,
yeah.
some are blessings, some are lessons, you know? So like, for instance, my first relationship was like almost 5 years. It was like high school sweethearts, but it was like, we were way too serious, way too young. Like we lived together in high school, like during high school. First like matching tattoos
No
together.
way. Which one is it?
It's
can't
on my
say it.
rib cage, but it's yeah, I got it covered with a sunflower.
Okay.
Fuck that guy.
No, he was a great
Nah, I'm
guy. He was a
kidding.
great guy.
Yeah, literally why we're talking about this.
Oh, that's good.
Literally. Anyways.
He got it covered first. I was like, oh yeah. When we like split that conversation, I was like, oh yeah, out of respect to this relationship and to you, like it meant
Sure.
something. Like I'm not gonna cover this up. And he was like, yeah, me either. Like 4 months later, I see him covering it up. I'm like, oh damn, that hurt. Like okay.
I mean, yeah, but then again,
Yeah.
to your point,
Yeah.
you know, it was a good relationship, no?
Yeah,
Should have left it open.
Yeah, you
Do
don't
it
have to
again, go
cover
back again.
Yeah, remove the cover up. Re-tattoo the
That's
other
what I was actually. You're funny. I was actually trying to remove it, and I was going through that process, but it was way too painful and taking too long, so I just got to cover up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you were that piece, you were gonna get it removed instead of getting it covered.
Yeah. So
What
I
was the
started the
piece?
process. It was anniversary date.
Oh.
Yeah. So we even had like a dog together. Like it was
Jesus
like way
Christ.
too serious,
Yeah.
like a marriage, you know. And it's like we don't even know who we are. And
That sounds like that those
yes, that
things from
couple.
earlier.
Oh,
No, what couple were you talking about?
I think you were talking about like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
What happened?
Like, it
to
was
you
like the
guys?
high school sweethearts
What
that you
happened to
guys
them?
had that they were. Oh, what were you gonna say?
Oh, we did have. I think we had high school sweethearts.
I didn't.
Yeah, they have a kid together. They have kids.
Who are we talking about?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, Chris.
Anyways, go. You keep going. You keep going. Say what you were gonna say.
So then
You guys moved in too fast. You had a dog
Yeah.
together. Too
So,
serious.
like, once it ended, like, we ended, like, he was about to turn 21. So I was just like, yeah, this guy just wants to, like, party, you know? But, like, in my eyes, like, we ended fine. He even said, like, you're an amazing girl, you know? Don't settle. And I was just like, awesome, thank you, you know, mad respect.
Yeah.
But, whatever. Then, like, Ugly came out after, but I was, like, always had, like, good things to say about him. Because, like, during that relationship, he was, like, a good, healthy individual, you know?
Healthy individual like that.
Yeah. Immature, but you know.
I mean, yeah, at that age, you're all gonna be
Everyone,
immature.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna-
I mean, I learned I was like very black and white, you know, because I had a very unpredictable upbringing, so like I wouldn't give him like leeway to like make mistakes. Like, oh no, that's incorrect, and this is right, and this
Yeah.
is what we do and what we don't do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So life gave me a reality check after that, and was like after we split, and was just like, no, this is like. Now you see the world, and not everyone operates the same. Everyone's very different. You can't be attached to like what you think or like your expectations of like how someone's supposed to respond.
yeah.
You know, you only have control of what you do and what you communicate. So it was like a learning lesson, you know, because I was like a stickler, and then I learned that I can't be caught up in regards to that.
Yeah, I think your late teens and early 20s and even mid and late 20s, the beautiful thing about it is like you should make mistakes and you should learn, you should do all these things. So to have it all figured out is impossible at that age. And why would you? You know, you have your entire life ahead of you.
Yeah.
And I think those years are very special because you can do everything and anything and just kind of go through life, and that you might be a little bit naive, but it's also like a beautiful thing to kind of explore and kind of really learn, figure out who you are. And so a lot of times, a lot of those long-term relationships, some of them work in rare cases, but in most cases they don't. And it's okay if they don't, you know? And so
It's easy to look back and
at the
be
time,
able
yeah,
to reflect, because at the time that's all you know.
because you don't know that the next 5 years.
I mean, that's exactly because
Yeah.
there aren't
aren't,
5 more years.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just at the moment. So
Yeah,
all
yeah.
you know is whatever you've learned from the time that you've been alive up to that moment. You don't know what the future holds. So it's hard to really like now. It's easy to be like, yeah, like now I've learned so much about myself from all the experiences I had and all the mistakes, lessons I've learned. But when you're making the mistakes, you feel like that's the end of the world, man.
Yeah.
I feel like, do you feel like at that time, like a heartbreak and the breakups and stuff like that and all these situations, I feel like they hurt more. Is it because you don't know anything else? Is it like this the first real love, or because if you were to break up with Christina now, it would suck. But I don't think would it be the worst.
I've
heartbreak?
told it to her face. I'm like, yo, if this doesn't work out, I'll be fine. Like, you're not the only person in this world, and she knows that. I'm with her because I want to, because it's a choice. That's one of the first things you said when you sat down here today. I'm with her because I want to be with her,
Okay.
but I'm not with her because it's a punishment. I'm not with her because I'm forced to.
Right.
So
No, I get that.
if something were to hit the fan, yeah, fuck it, I don't care. But I know that now because
Because you're still here. Because 5 years ago, if things didn't work out, you're like, man, there's not going to be anybody else.
yeah, because
Now
5 years
you
ago
know.
when I did have the heartbreak, that was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm still alive today.
exactly.
So I feel like if I was able to do that, I can do anything at that point. Yeah. So it's not gonna
Experience taught you.
It's experience,
Yeah.
and it's also being patient and understanding.
Yes.
And one thing that we were talking about a little bit earlier, the gym taught me to be patient and to be consistent. That is the only way you'll see results in anything in life. So if a new job, the only way you can get good at the job is by doing the reps. So for example, me, the first time I work at a bank, I open accounts and do all this bullshit. I don't know how the fuck the system works. And the first time you do that, I'm like, wait, where do I click to go to the next page? I don't fucking know. Where do I fill out? Oh, I can't move. Oh, because you have this, you see the little red thing. Yeah. Okay. Click it. Oh, okay. Now I can move. It takes experience. But after a while, it just becomes second nature because you become comfortable with it. But at first you're like, man, I fucking hate this job. You haven't had a new job in forever. But me, when I first started the job, I'm like, man, I don't know why the fuck I left my old job. Now I got this fuck ass new job. I just got used to what I had before. But then I made the switch and, it was uncomfortable, but then I made it through. Like that was a year ago and I'm like, oh, so all I think about is the same thing with the gym. I work out when I first started going a year ago in Zoom. You saw me. I mean, I wasn't disgusting looking, but I wasn't the way that I'm looking now. I'm in the best shape of my life and I feel amazing. I feel healthy. I feel like I can do anything that I wanted to. But it took time and it took me being patient, consistent, and being very disciplined. But over time, everything fell into place if I kept showing up. And I feel like that's just like with everything else. And I think that's also same thing with this. Like every single day, even after those heartbreaks, you still show up for yourself. You still want to be active and it still hurts. But after some time, you heal and then you're like, oh, I was fucking stressed out over this thing. Like I'm still here. I'm still alive. Like life goes on. So to your point, I feel like it's like that. Like and she was very, very, she knows that if shit were to hit the fan and God forbid, I do want to be with her, but if I'm not going to I'm not going to sacrifice my own health, mental, happiness, overall, my own happiness and my own, just me, myself, what I stand for. If I don't agree with something and it just doesn't align, then to each his own. You're not the only person in this world. We'll both land on our feet.
Yeah, things change, circumstances change, but like I don't have to also change my perspective and like how I view you. I can still have that respect for you, but it's like, hey, emotions and feelings change, and that's okay.
And I see things like that because you had said earlier about literally just right now of how your exes. I don't badmouth my exes. You've never badmouthed your ex. Surprisingly, after everything that's happened, I would have said a house of shit to this person for fucking check your email. Bullshit, right?
I say if I like know you guys, but is that I've listened to.
But that's fine. That's fine. But it's it's things like that. But even to this point, you've never said anything negative.
No, and so again, like I was with them for my exes and my ex, whatever, for a long time. So if I chose to be with this person and then now we break up, and if I talk shit about them, what does it say about me?
Oh, I said that in the course too.
I stole that line from you. Like if I was with this person for many years and now they're a dirtbag, a piece of shit, etc. So what does it make me then?
Yeah, you're the idiot that was with that dirtbag, you dumb fuck.
so I'm the sucker too, So, but no, I wish all my exes very well. They've all, I guess kudos to me because I have really.
Yeah, dude, fucking ruffle your feathers, dog. You deserve it. Yeah,
I've been with some good women, man. They were good and kind, and also partly because I was a good man. Well, it was decent. I'm gonna tell you, it was okay. We're not talking about that. Okay, let's skip that part. But I tried to be good, man. I tried to be good with what I had at the time. But I was with an amazing woman, and it didn't work out. And from what I know, is they're all in really good positions now, and I think I'm very happy.
Older. I mean, do you think that if you were to have a conversation with your ex right now,
it's I don't know. I don't know how it would be. I think it would be amicable. I would like to believe so.
She'd probably punch you in the face.
Yeah, it'd be so fucking knock me out. I don't know. I don't know what would happen. I would like to believe so. At least on my end, I would be very respectful and I would wish her well. I would wish her very well and hope that she's in a good position. And it's crazy how life works, But at the end of the day, I think everybody ends up where they need to be.
Yeah.
Some roads take a little bit longer. Some roads are a little bit darker for a while, but ultimately,
there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Everybody's destination looks a little bit different, but at the end of the day, it's
we're all going somewhere.
Yeah, we're all going somewhere, and it's the journey that matters too, and you gotta embrace it. So. But I feel like when you're young, you're 21 and 20, and that road is very narrow, and you feel like there's nothing else that matters except this person. Now that we've lived a little bit longer, life is the world is a lot bigger than what it really is. Yeah.
No, during that time, I feel like I was operating, like I was identifying myself like through my relationship.
Yeah,
So I was making
yeah.
my relationship my identity. And I see like
Because it was your identity.
Yeah.
Because
but no, but you
partially.
don't make it like your whole identity. Like I think the goal is to like have two independent people like living and sharing their lives together.
Of course, but at the time you didn't have your own self.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're still figuring yourself out. So all you know is you with your girlfriend
and your school, your high school, the couple people that you see every day, and then your parents and your siblings, and that's your world. So they take up a big part of that world. So
and all you know is that world, because of whatever your friend says or what happened to your friend's friend. That's all that exists.
And then if they're no longer there, then now you feel like your whole world ended. But it's reality is just the world with that person. So I think that's the beauty about life too.
Yeah. And there's a time and place for everything. So, for instance, you know what's crazy? You guys had Dr. Hasty on the podcast.
GOAT.
I love him. He's amazing.
We should.
Yeah, next time when he comes in, he's just
You know what's crazy? After that breakup, I actually had him as a professor.
Oh, really?
But I did not, I was not in the space. I was like single mode. I was like that. I had just started drinking for the first time. I tried alcohol for like the first time, like a few months after I turned 21. And I was like, oh, really?
Yeah.
I was like partying for like 6 months, almost to a year. And then I got really tired of it because I was like, oh man, this is like the same repetitive stuff. But so I had Dr. Hasty during that time. So nothing really registered with me. Then like, I would say like maybe 2 years later, I was started getting into your podcast. I discovered your podcast and I fell in love with that episode because I felt like his outlook in regards to relationships, love, like, hey, I am love. Like because it's honestly, you only have control of who you are. So it's like, you are love, you are patience, like you are kind.
You know what you bring to the table. You're secure.
Exactly.
Because I know me. Because
And
I am love.
Then you determine like how you like, and everyone else is a recipient of that. And then you determine like, okay, does this person add value to me? Do I want to continue and pursue this relationship or this person?
Yeah, like what role are they going to play in my life? Are they going to be my friend, significant other, more than just my friend? It's the same thing because you can love me the same way you love you Claudia, but it don't mean, I mean, you know. Hey, turn the lights off. Hey, Vinny, get out of here. No, but for real, no, he said that though. It's like, you know, you obviously have roles, and I think it's that. I think if you can show up as love and just be that individual, everyone else is the recipient, but you can choose the role that they play in your life to receive that love. Okay,
so then in reference to last time we said in regards to aggressors, right? Like, oh, why would someone want power and control over someone, right? And I kind of just like froze. Okay. But I think it has to like stem from like either insecurities, observed behaviors or upbringings, traumas. Like it's multiple factors that can play a role in regards to that, right? Like why someone's operating in those lens. So then I was actually engaged in everything. I was in a relationship for almost 2 years. I was overthinking a little bit because now we're civil, like we talk. Because his brother is like part of the family still, like, or has a relationship with the family. So I was like, man, how would he feel if he would hear this? But it's honestly like, it's the truth, it's what happened. So it was a long distance relationship. I thank God it was long distance because it probably would have been more confusing, you know, with like the loss and having that person next to you all the time. So I had met this person. He lives in Cuba, all of this. Super romantic, put me on a pedestal type of thing. And like I was saying, romantic gesture, like we went to the beach with his mom. I was in the water with his mom. We come out and like he has like a mariachi like band like singing and like he's like dancing like twirling me around. Is that
romantic? Are you in love with this guy already? Huh?
No way.
No, you're like, that's not romantic, bro. That sounds but so super. Wait, what?
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
So, like, we had met in person. Like, it's not something that we met online or anything like that. We had met in person. And honestly, right off the bat, I was like, if your intentions, because Cuba's known for, like, you know, taking advantage and just like, using people to come to, to the U.S. So then I was like, if your intentions or goal is to come to the U.S., just be clear to me because I feel like you have a lot of potential and ambition. So as long like you don't have to fake a relationship, let's just talk clear and like we can like definitely go that route. And then
Damn.
yeah.
He's down for it too.
No, she would have been like, be honest with me. She was gonna be honest with you.
Fuck you.
No, I was honestly considering it because of like no, I was genuine. I was genuine in regards to it. But then he wanted to pursue me romantically, and I was like, oh, okay. But it was like it got like an unhealthy relationship, like, you know, very toxic and like emotionally, psychologically, like gross. So it was like put me on a pedestal, but then like out of nowhere we'll get these extreme jealousy attacks and like bring me down, right? Like I remember I went to the beach with like 2 girlfriends and like I couldn't post pictures with a bathing suit. I couldn't post any pictures, which I wouldn't like really post that much or anything like that. So then she posts a picture on her, mind you, he's not even following her or anything like that. She posts a picture with me and he was like, oh, look, you posted a picture. Like, what are you trying to do? You're trying to be a whore, all of this. And like, just start talking down. And then he was like, oh, and the only reason she posted it because she looks better because you look like ass. You don't even, your ass looks flat. All of this, like trying to just like destroy my self-esteem and belittle me. And I was just like, and then I was like, bro, like that's it.
Yeah,
we're going to stop. He was like, oh, I'm seeking therapy. I'm going to go to therapy. You know, it's just like I have so much trauma because I've been cheated on so much. And like paints the scenario of like, you know, is that Miami's a party city and everyone's like just having sex and going wild. And I don't want to be like un come mierda here in Cuba, being loyal and faithful to you while you're here like, you know, betraying me and making me look stupid, like a fool. So I'm here like also like, oh, okay, I understand. Like trying to like
Eating it up.
Like
eating it up.
Eating it up.
So then, make a long story short, it was just like, I ended the relationship because I was like, I started therapy and I wanted to start therapy for my own thing just to have like better coping skills and stuff like that. But I was like, hey, look, this is time sensitive because we had started the process of me bringing him over here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then I was like, I just want to focus on this because that was already on the, on like inclining in regards to like, okay, I'm going to end the relationship, but do I still bring him over? You know, because he was already like, you know, with this illusion that he was going to come, bring his family, and he like has good work ethic, and like to see good work ethic in Cuba, while you live in Cuba is like rare. So then I was focused on that because I was really debating. But then it came to a point that like just like, hey, one moment you're the best, I love you, but it's like you can't even trust that like when you say that because then it's like, why would you even talk to me like that? So I was even breaking out with hives. Like, it's crazy how connected, like, our mind and our bodies are because I had to get tested for so many things. And they were testing me for lupus and everything. Because I would get hives all over and my lips would get, like, super swollen. And not, like, the good swollen. Like, it would only be, like, one lip at a time, right? Like, it wouldn't
uneven as fuck.
Yeah. So it would look really bad. Like, watch, look. I'm going to show you a picture.
You got a picture?
Yeah, it was a whole process. It was like 2 or 3 months that I was going through this. And then it looks like if I was beat up. Like.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Wow. So Miami. Doesn't even look like you.
Yeah, it looks like a different person.
And then like, yeah, no, it was bad. And it was like all over my body, my neck, my eyes would get swollen. It looked so bad. And the moment that I ended the relationship and ended everything, guess what? Like
cured.
Yeah.
Was it like stress or
it was the amount of stress. It was the amount of stress in regards to like the dynamic in regards to like our body communicates to us. That's why it's so important to be aware and like in tune to what we're experiencing.
And listen to your body.
Yeah.
So what happened to the guy? Is he still in Cuba?
So yeah.
Oh yeah, how did it end?
So, okay, we ended and then, but we continued like talking here and there, but it was like, it came to a point that I couldn't even like hear his voice because I would just get irritated. And he would like, do like, okay, when we were like still together, he would provoke me, like start a fight. and then hang up, right? To like wow me up. And then the moment that I will call back, he would record the phone call, right? And then send it to me and be like, oh, look how crazy you are. Because then he would be all calm and cool and collect.
Oh, narcissist. Easy money.
Yeah. And
Done.
then he would send it to me and be like, look how crazy you are. And like, that's how easy it is to like fall into that.
What a dipshit, dude.
Yeah. But, I mean, so... And
Yeah,
I'm
who
so,
does
no,
that?
no, I agree. But it's so common. It is so
Wow.
So wait, did he end
Like
up
a
coming over here or what?
Oh, he's still in
no.
Cuba.
Yeah, he's still in
Alright,
Cuba.
good.
But like
Well,
months
you
Leave that
later,
motherfucker there.
I found out like his brother's girlfriend was like, oh, by the way, he was like constantly cheating on you and like constantly had girls in and out of the house, but his family told me to like promise to not tell you. And like in the moment, I was just like, okay, I'm so glad I listened to my intuition like before even knowing this information, because I had already ended things. But that's how like intuitive, like, you know, women are. And then, and also it's just like, besides the intuition, I was like, there's so much red flags and facts that things that
That
happen.
guilty conscience was hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was ringing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You guys were ringing.
That's fucked. At least, I mean, that's fucked that she told you like months, like a long time
Yeah,
after.
and I had asked her too.
Yeah, dude, come on.
Yeah.
Well, no, I got played. Man, I got played too. Didn't I tell you the story that happened with one of my exes? I think I told you. No,
Yeah, man. Can you give me a recap?
dude, that she went up to a city up north. In
Oh
Florida,
yeah, I remember.
And
What happened to
turns
her?
out, you know, it's funny. I said this, and someone actually started like getting at me in the comments and in my DMs. They're like, "Oh, but you don't know what this girl was going through. She was probably being manipulated and all that stuff." And I'm like, "Listen, maybe she was. She lied to me. I don't care. Oh, but you don't understand because maybe she had to do that for this. That's fine."
Wait, what's the situation?
Situation was okay, we were here. Well, I'm here obviously. She was also here, but she got an opportunity to work in for a firm in a little bit North
What's
Florida.
the name of the firm?
I don't know. Fuck that guy. If you ever watched this, fuck you nasty piece of shit. I think he's arrested actually. Fuck you. But anyways, he's a piece of shit. Turns out she goes up there, and I kind of, a part of me is like, you know what? She was very naive because she was always like, she thought good of everybody. Well, motherfucker.
No, keep going.
She thought good of everybody. So like, she really didn't think of maldad. Like, it was really hard to
She was
really
like a
convince.
sweetheart, no? She was like
Very, like, it was just one of those things, which is why to this point I'm not that disappointed or upset. But it's almost like, bro, come on. Because at the end of the day, she still lied. Like, she didn't tell me what was happening. She hid everything that was going on. And she would disappear. She wouldn't reply, you know, on her phone. She wouldn't answer. And it was almost, she made it seem like, oh, I felt like I had to because I got this opportunity with zero experience to work for this, you know, for this law firm. And it was a good one up in the area that she was in. And again, she had no experience. So she's like, wow, someone took a chance on me. Like, I feel like I owe it to this person, you know, to just do whatever they want and stuff. So there were certain things that I guess at first it started with little things. And then it started to like get a little bit bigger. Like, oh, I got to go travel over here. Like, come with me. Or, oh, we're going to go over here. Like, hey, you should come with me also. And again, it just started like she just wouldn't answer. And then I would see her then on the weekends. And it was like we were together. And then Monday would roll around and it's like, oh, no, we're not. No, like you have the wrong impression. I was like, I thought we were on the same page. Like I literally specifically, I thought we were talking about getting back on track. Mm-hmm. In fact, we were holding hands on the treadmills together at the gym. And I'm like, okay, I guess we're getting better. And then a couple days later, she goes, oh, no. Like, yeah, we're not. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I was just going nuts.
Yeah.
So what happened? She went up there and the person who hired her was brothers. Okay, so the person who hired her was brothers with her best friend. So, and then the best friend, they were dating. So okay, her best friend was dating the guy's brother. Okay, she was working for the guy, brother, dating best friend. That's why they all went up at the same time. And yeah, I found out because the brother got screwed over on something in some deal or whatever the fuck was going on from the main guy who hired my girlfriend at the time. And he's like, oh, by the way, this happened, this has been going on. And the time that they said this, it was only them together. And yeah, they had this. And oh, that time, remember? And I'm like, yeah, I do. Yeah, I asked her, yeah, it's because of this. And I'm like, this fucking bitch. Wow. This whole fucking time, I'm here thinking, and I felt like I was the biggest piece of shit because I'm here trying to like salvage the relationship. And I'm thinking, this is long distance. I'm even going to fucking try. Right. And I wasn't a saint either. Like there was issues like that we both had. And there was a little bit of like inconsistencies going on, but at that point whatever. We had split up, but we were like trying to rebuild, trying to get back together. But the whole time, I'm hearing all these things. And to the person that's going to slide in my DMs later telling me, oh, but you don't know because she was naive and she was young. She fucking lied. I don't care.
Yeah.
She fucking lied. She shouldn't have lied. She lied the entire time. So then when I confronted her, I called her. I'm like, yo, what's up? You got some time? She goes, yeah, what's up? And I'm like, okay, who did you go to this place with? And I just hear her go, oh. And I'm like, and also, who'd you go to this other place with? Let me explain. I'm like, oh, and not only that, what about this other place too? The one that you didn't want to tell me about? Who'd you go with? It's not even like that. I'm like, you had forever to tell me the truth, but this whole entire time, you lied to me. You were hiding it this entire time. So don't try to explain yourself now. You should have explained to me when I had these questions before. You didn't want to tell me. I'm not even going to give you the chance to tell me now. Eventually, I was seeing red. After a while, she actually, bro, she sent me a message so long that I could the text wouldn't even open. I had to like click on it and then like a new page opened up from how long. That's happened to you?
Yeah.
That's the first time it's ever happened to me. And I'm like, God damn. After that, I we talked things out. We ended up splitting up. And then a couple years later, up until this point, I mean, she's dating somebody else. She looks extremely happy. And in fact, we talk here and there. She's kind of close and she does mean a lot to me in the sense of who she was related to. And to that point, because I dated her, I still hold her close to me because, I mean, I chose her, and she did have really good qualities. I feel like she was kind of baited a little bit. So to the point, the person who DM'd me, I agree with you. She still lied. But still, it was because of that, and I found out because of that. This guy ended up telling me because he got screwed over, and then he told me everything. But that's how I found out too, and it was fucking devastating because the whole time I'm there feeling like fuck, like I'm doing everything that I can, and I'm like, oh, it's because of this. I felt like such a fool, dude.
Yeah, I remember that was a tough time.
But here I am. Healed, moving forward,
still alive,
happy,
and more resilient,
but also
smarter,
but also very comfortable, but also very civil with this person. It took some time, but that's what growth is all about.
Yeah, that's where him and I don't have anything against him. So after I found out, I confronted him, and he was super in denial about it. And then months later is when we were able to he wanted to talk, and we had a conversation, and he apologized. I was like, hey, I already forgiven it, but I hope you forgive yourself. And I think he was trying to rekindle things again, but I was like, definitely not. But I do hope everything you said is true, and you have changed. Because why would I want him to continue with those behaviors, hurting more people, more women? That doesn't help anyone. So I do hope that you are a healed individual now. And so that dynamic, I feel taught me what I don't want in a relationship, right? Yeah. I don't want to be put on a pedestal or idolized to then also be destroyed emotionally, belittled. No, a relationship was made very clear is to support each other, and to help each other and add value to each other's lives. And that was just not it. But it taught me that, I'm very clear in regards to what I don't want. And then, yeah. 2 more experiences, and it was just it was very short-lived. It wasn't even official relationships, but how you said earlier in the episode, how the universe is just everything happens for a reason. Everyone crosses your path for a reason. So it was actually on Halloween, okay, so I had found out about the whole truth in regards to my ex, the one I was engaged with, October 1st. On Halloween, October 31st, I went out. And I was just on this tip of I just want to focus on myself. I don't want to know about anyone. All men are cheaters, all of this type of programming, right? All this perspective. So then I was at the club, met this, saw this, walked in, we made eye contact, and it was just oh man, that was a very there was such a connection there, I come back from the bar with my best friend and her guy, and it was just that song, Cha Cha Slide, 2 hops this time, super corny, and then we just started hopping next to each other, right? So it was just conversation right off the bat, and then in the club, everyone's grinding, dancing on each other, and we're just here having a full-blown conversation.
Cha Cha Slide.
Yeah, that was the starter.
Yeah.
And then So then that happened. My best friend thought that we were friends because of like how genuine and how like organic everything flowed. But it was like very like short lived. It was like, okay, I want to pursue this person romantically because we went on a hangout date very shortly after that. And it was like first initial hangout, and it was like all these deep, profound like questions, and like really getting to know like my character, my values, like what do I care for, like even like what's my religion. Like I've never been asked that, you know. And then getting insight into that person, and I was like, wow, this is like a great exchange, right? So then everything was going well, and then it was like to a point that it was just like, oh wait, you know what? I actually just like I can't do this anymore. I don't want to like waste your time, because I was also very clear like, okay, I don't want to waste my time, so I want to be clear in regards to like where you stand. Like, not that I need a title, right? But I want to know like, are we like headed in the same direction? Like, do we have the same position, stance? And you know, he disclosed like, you know, I'm not there. Like, you know, like you're great, you're amazing, but I'm not there. And I felt so heartbroken. So I felt like rejected, right? I was just like, damn, like it was going so well. Like, why wouldn't it continue? Like, why wouldn't that person be intrigued? And I remember you said like episodes ago how like men are more used to rejection instead of like women. So I was like my first one. So I was like, okay, this is dealing with rejection. Like, how do I feel about this? And how am I going to like, so in the beginning, I was just like, bro, I'm not worthy enough. Like, why am I not good enough? Like, what's wrong? Like, what do I not have? Right. And then like, I had to snap myself out of that mindset, because I'm like, this is not helping me. This is not beneficial. And I was like, okay, let me take another stance. Like, what attracted me about this person? Like, what do I like about this person that makes me like want to be intrigued, or I get to continue getting to know this person? And then I was like, okay, the structure, like very clear priorities, even in regards to like relationships in their lives, like the relationship with their mother, relationship with like certain friends, and like really colleagues. And I was just like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna like the qualities that I admired, I'm gonna start implementing that in my life. And I think that was like a different approach that really helped me like build my relationship closer with my faith, my mom, nourish my other relationships in my life, like with my best friends, my colleagues. And like months later, my graduation, it was such like a euphoric moment, because it was like, yeah, I'm not in a romantic relationship, but I feel like on top of the world and so loved by all these other relationships in my life. And I feel like we like put so much emphasis on romantic relationships, you know? And it's like everyone plays like such an important, vital role. And like there's different type of support and trust. And I think that's like beautiful, and like to embrace those relationships as well. So I got like what I learned from that. And like I think that I'm so thankful for that experience, because it really connected me to that. So those values. And I'm really clear in regards to like what I want. Like, and now I'm like, oh no, I want that mental, emotional, spiritual stimulation, you know, like that's important.
Yeah, a lot of times those traumatic experiences are like a catalyst for a lot of growth and a new chapter, and it's kind of a lot of self-development, you know, and it's a pivot point, because, you know, how you expected your life was going to go, all of a sudden, you know, next thing you know, it's not there anymore. And now you have to figure out how you're going to do without this person. And so it's almost kind of like reinventing yourself, which I think is an actually amazing experience. Every time people tell me like I broke up or whatever, you know, my people are like always, oh, I'm sorry, but like, sorry for what? You know, you guys broke up for a reason, more likely than not. So I celebrate, you know, breakups in a way, because it just kind of gives you an opportunity to start over.
You think reinvent, or just you learn more about yourself?
I think a combination of both.
Both.
Because you can be whoever you want to be. That could really apply to anything. You don't need to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I wanted to kind of piggyback off of what you can be whoever you want to be. You can be yourself.
You
can be. It's an opportunity to really to create your own identity. Yeah. Without you know having someone groom you, manipulate you, or steer you in some sort of way. It allows you to be yourself. So whoever you want to be is the person who you are destined to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's very well said because we were somebody a lot of times, maybe they listen to certain music and all of a sudden we start listening to music, but it's like, what do you like to listen to?
Mm-hmm.
What do you like to do? Where do you like to travel to? What do you like to do for fun? And instead of it being, well, my partner always, we usually would do this or he usually does this and she does that. It's like, I didn't ask you that. I'm like, who are you?
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you want? And if you don't know, and what's an amazing opportunity to find out, And so I love that. So
self-awareness is everything,
self-awareness. Yeah. I think breakups are a great opportunity to change your whole life.
Yeah.
A lot of times people are kind of stuck. Just in fact, today I was talking to a good friend of mine, and that he's, like kind of stuck in a point where I feel like that is required for him. Maybe not that exactly, but well, actually, yeah, I do think that exactly. I think he's in a pivot point where he just needs to like wake up and get out of a really tough position that he's in right now, and that kind of is required. I think it's tough to acknowledge that and accept that, but once you're on the other side, again, it's an amazing way to look back and oh shit, look what I've accomplished.
I think it's like definitely doing that inner work,
Yeah.
That makes all the difference. And like not trying to distract yourself with like another person, like, just replacing that person with someone else.
Yeah.
Because that's like detrimental.
Jumping from one person to the next. Oh,
yeah.
The worst. Yeah, I hate that.
And then, so then almost a year later, I thought I was like, all right, I'm good. I'm fine. I met this other person. It was through a mutual friends with my cousin. And then I was like, oh, this human is amazing. Like, I mean, I wasn't like initially like trying to pursue romantically because of like the mutual I was like respecting. But then they started like, we just started talking and conversing. Like we had similar values. Even their approach in regards to like, they gave a story in regards like they were at a restaurant and a homeless person came in and like went to like several, like a family and like asking like for food, not even for money, for food. And people just trying to like ignore or dismiss that person, like if they were not there. So then like he went and approached her like, hey, you're hungry? Like you want a plate of food? Like what do you want? And like got her food. And like it was just like a very small exchange. But I feel like that spoke so much to his values. And that's all I was like, oh, I like that. I'm attracted to that because I think that means so much. And that's like, it's more like, than the physical. And that's what's going to last. And then it was like, okay, and it was like open, vulnerable, expressive, it was like showed me in regards to like how a person can like change, right? They can like make mistakes and like not be the best human and take accountability and do that work and change. And I was like, like also, I would say like planted the seed in regards to my passion in regards to humanity and like just humans overall. And then very similar communication style, was like very direct, like this is what I want, this is where I stand, and this is what I like. And I was just like, oh damn, this is intimidating. So I was just like, you communicate the same style as me, and I was not ready. Like I started feeling like it was good at that moment, and then I started experiencing like anxiousness. And I would start talking and I would need like I would like not have any saliva in my mouth. It was like I was in the Sahara Desert for like weeks and haven't had like a drink of water in like months. And I couldn't even speak. And my mouth would get so dry. And he would just be like, oh, here's some water. And that happened on multiple occasions. I'm like, why does he even want to hang out with me? Like, I'm here like having like a full
self-sabotage.
Me? Yeah. I mean, so it was the first time I've ever experienced that. So then after that, I was just like, okay, he was very like kind, very compassionate, very sweet. But then I noticed a shift. And when I noticed the shift, that's when I was like reflecting. I went to the beach, started journaling. I was like, where is this anxiety stemming from? And then I had like this whole realization. I communicated it. And then he was just like, yeah, I completely understand. I don't feel, like he was just like, yeah, I don't feel like we're romantically compatible anymore, or like not anymore, but like just like I don't see a future in regards to that sense. And then after some time, like we were able to like we coexist in each other's lives as friends and like support each other. And I think that's beautiful too, like in regards to even if it doesn't work out with like your expectations or romantically, you can still like be friends or supportive of each other, even if it didn't go as you thought or desired. And I think that's why it's so important, because it was also like I dealt with the whole rejection thing too. It's like, what? Why am I not good enough again?
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I came to a realization with that experience that like I love my people. I love people unconditionally, right? Like I like love you for like your like the parts that are rough of you, and then like also your light, you know, because we're human and we all are in different paths. And but I'm like super hard on myself. I'm like, so I love people unconditionally, but I don't love myself unconditionally. Like I'm here like, oh, I'm gonna be loved. I'm deserving to be loved once I have my goal in regards to my career, where I want to be, or once I have this, or where I'm this in regards to my fitness level. Like, you know, these type of things. Like I'm putting all these standards and expectations on myself. And then when he was like still so compassionate, like even when I'm like having like these meltdowns, I was like, oh, I gotta love myself unconditionally. So that just taught me, I'm like, hey, I'm not ready for a romantic relationship because I still gotta like, you know, work on my relationship with myself. And I think that's the most important relationship. And we're not talking about that or teaching people the relationship with yourself. So that's why I really wanted to like bring up those 4 exchanges, because it's not about like letting that like ruin you or like dim your light. Like it's like, no, we can learn it and embrace it. We can embrace these experiences even if it didn't go as planned or as expected.
Yeah, I think, and also a great way to kind of like summarize this whole episode is also, it's also to
Thinking the same thing.
nothing
Same thing.
in your past has to define you. And yes, you cannot change what happened to you, but you can change how the rest of your life will look like.
Because you're in control of only yourself and of what
Exactly.
you can do
Yes.
and your outlook.
And in a way, that's all that really matters, really, because you are your own person. And if you don't take care of yourself, no one else will take care of you. And so all the experiences that you shared, it all comes back to just one thing, and that's yourself.
Yeah.
Beautifully stated. That last segment, it was the way that you were able to kind of show your growth and what you were able to take away. Because you, as you were saying, you know, your experiences of what was going on in your relationships, it's like, oh, that's why this. And then you would go. And then I'm like, okay. And then you would get to I'm like, that's why that. And it's beautiful because just like many people will badmouth or talk about all the negatives about their exes, they kind of also define us. I mean, those are experiences that we create with people. Almost, they're our own experiences that were kind of created in conjunction with somebody else. But they were still your experiences. They just so happen to be with somebody else, but you're creating those experiences. Sometimes you like some things. Sometimes you learn to not like certain things. And you've been able to apply that every single time. You kind of learned a lesson every single time. So in the next relationship, it's almost like, okay, I'm ready for, I've gone through so much. I know what to expect, but then it's like a new type of experience. And you're like, whoa, I didn't know this was going to happen. All right, fine. All right. Now I learned. Okay. The next one. All right. Now I know everything. And then you're like, oh, fuck. Now I don't know what to do with this. But every single time you always, what was that?
No, it's kind of how life works, you know?
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then at this point, but you're still single and you got still out there in the market.
Doing your thing.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy where I'm at in regards to like my family, my colleagues. I feel so fortunate and so blessed. Like even in regards to like this exchange too. Like I am so like so happy and like I feel so blessed and honored to be
Thanks
here.
for coming. Yeah, thanks for coming on and sharing your experience. I thought this was a great segment. It's like a given. It's like a given. Like you were like, for sure we'll have you back on again. You might be like a regular. Yeah,
I like you.
Yeah.
I like
And
you.
that was one of the things. Like was when we were talking. It's like it doesn't feel like we've only met each other 2 times. I feel like we have known you for like 10 years.
Well, she's known us for a long
Yeah.
time.
I know that probably makes it a lot easier. But not even that, because people you might be listening, but it's different when you're in the same room. So that energy and being comfortable and being honest, like and you feel comfortable enough to share some of your experiences. It may not be whatever with everybody else. So we appreciate you coming on and yeah, I'm very happy.
Oh, thank you guys. I love you guys.
I love you too. Right.
So as we wrap everything up, we always end with the final thoughts. I asked you last time. I hope you're ready for it again.
If you have something else.
Message you'd like to say to your younger self. Message you'd like to share with the world.
Just say the same thing you did last time.
Verbatim. We just used this clip from last time.
It's almost the same. Just the outfit.
Green.
Let's see. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
No, I actually wanted to say something that my grandma has ingrained since childhood. And I think it like correlates to like the whole overall theme that we've been talking about. So she's always said, nadie es mejor que tú, pero tú no eres mejor que nadie. So in English, it's like, no one's better than you, but you're not better than anyone. And I think it's so important because it's like a lot of people operate from a lens of like hierarchy, or they identify their worth with like their position or where they're at in life. And it's like, no, we're all equal, right? We're all equal. And it's in regards to, like, she's always given this example. You can be the CEO to your company. And it's like, to have a thriving environment, you're going to need a receptionist. You're going to need a custodial staff. And guess what? Like, if something goes wrong with the piping or the toilet, like, guess what you need? You need a plumber. So every role, every person is important, is vital. So it's like, don't identify your worth with like where you're at, your status or your like economical status, like or where you're at or who you're around with. It's yourself, like, and like the relationship with yourself and how you see your values, your morals, your principles. And you can only try to be like the best version of yourself. So I think that's really important.
And everyone plays a role in your life too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somehow think of all your exes. You know, they played a really good role in your life, and look at who like it created you, really defined who you were. And it, just like you said, but even like there's certain people in your life as well where you have some friends. I've even told you too that sometimes you have to like cut them off if you feel like you're kind of distancing yourself or you're maybe in a different path. But sometimes, you know, because then I have certain friends that they're like, oh, why don't you like hang out with them as often? It's like, listen, like they serve a certain role in my life. Like that's not going to be my, you know, speed dial, first person I call, but I know that, you know, in whatever role that they play, that they're valuable in that role. Exactly. Just like everything else. I feel like everyone has, you know, just get along. Everybody love everybody.
Exactly.
I love it. Guys, thank you so much. Fucking 2-hour episode.
2 hour episode.
We gotta edit all. Sorry, Angelo. He's gonna edit all this shit.
Angelo, we love you. You're the best.
We gotta watch
I tried to talk fast too.
We'll speed it up on the.
It was perfect.
It was perfect.
All right. So with that being said, thank you so much, everybody, for watching, listening, all that good stuff. Till next time.
See you guys. Ciao.